You guys will have to let me know if you can hear me and what the sound is doing. Because I can never tell if it's actually working. You're just joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to have you. Hear me? Oh, I hear myself. Just hang on. Let's mute that. I want to hear myself. Ah, okay. Let me jump in to the chat on my phone. Ah, it says I'm live. Ooh, okay. Hello. How is the sound on your end? Welcome. Hey, thank you, Jess B. I appreciate that. How's your Lionsgate energy? How's your full moon in Leo, Mercury retrograde, Lionsgate? How is the energy for you? Let's see. Oh, it's not letting me join the chat on my computer, which is going to be a bit of a problem. Let me try refreshing. See if it's still even live. Welcome. Ah, there it is. Okay. Hi, Trisha. Great to see you both. Oh, it's not letting me like type, which is really odd. Huh. Okay, no worries. I will put the payment details in a different location. Grab them and use my phone to put the payment details in. So if you'd like to get a read, you can. How's everyone's Lionsgate, full moon in Leo, Mercury retrograde going? How's it going? There we go. And I'll pin that comment. And that way, if you'd like to, there we go. If you'd like to get a reading, you can. Great to have you guys. Is anyone else chatting? If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Because I've been having some problems with my YouTube. Let's see. Hello. Hmm. Hello. There we go. Oh, thank you, the wellness. I appreciate that. Just be thank you. Okay. Thank you for letting me know I'm not like absolutely bonkers here. Oh, hey, Kylie. Always great to see you. Thank you so much. Awesome. Okay, yeah. For some reason, my chat on YouTube is not showing at all. So I have to look in my app as opposed to my computer, which is different. Hey, Ramata Dem, great to have you. And Kylie, I know you have to go, so thank you so much for being here, for the time you can be here. I really appreciate it. Okay. All right, everyone. Super curious. How is the Mercury retrograde impacting you? Hey, thank you. Wellness ASD, you are first. I was saying today it's very strange. It's almost like silence. I don't feel much energy, which makes me worried. Nah, don't worry about it. You may have a Gemini 12th house, or Mercury retrograding through your 12th house, which is going to make it a more internal process for you rather than one that is, um, kind of focused on, how do I put it? Um, the external world, it may be a very interior world process. Like during a Mercury retrograde, if you have a Gemini 12th house, you could find that your experiences, like you have a lot of dreams about the past or people from your past, or where you are like processing things that occurred from your past as well. Or a lot of memories may surface or come up, that kind of thing. So no need to worry if for some reason it is just not showing in your outer world, that your nothing wrong with you. experiences. Oh, good. I found my chat. I just had to switch browsers. Okay, awesome. But I'm definitely curious if other people are willing to share what your Mercury retrograde experiences may have been. And if you want to jump on the list, you can. The information to get a reading is in the pinned comment. You would technically be next. Right now, we have the Wellness ASD typing out their question, and we will we will see who's next. Okay, so Diane is now on the list. Thank you, Diane. So Wellness HD 8, she's going to be first, and then Diane. So as soon as the Wellness HD posts, we'll be off to the races. So Diane, go ahead and get your question ready and your birth details if you want to type it out in your chat box. And then as soon as I'm done with the Wellness HD, I'm going to ask you to post it. Don't send it just yet, because I may need to have a little dialogue and Q&A with the Wellness HD, who's first. Don't post it yet, but get it ready so that when I call your name, we're lickety split. We're moving really fast. Okay. And anyone else who wants to jump on the list can. The list is super short at the moment. I've got the Wellness AC, I've got Diane, and then it would be you. And if you want to jump on the list, the way to do that is in the pinned comment. But I'm also just going to repost it there in the chat. Um, Jess said I couldn't attend the last mini live, but watched it after and it was super interesting. Yeah, we got some really yummy questions from about the collective and where the collective is at from folks who, had questions because that day happened to be the day that Biden dropped out of the election. And in that live, I talked a bit about the charts of Biden and what would create dropping out of an election like that. I talked about Kamala's chart and what would create a win for her, her competitor's chart. At that point, her competitor's vice president and running mate had not been selected, so we didn't look at his chart. But if you guys want to do that today, we can. Um, but we'll see where the conversation takes us. I don't know what happened to the Wellness AC. It is their turn and they are not moving. So Diane, if you're ready, let's go. Please post your birth details and cue. Okay. Oh, okay. Wellness AC, I see you're there. Okay. Never mind. Hold tight. Diane will be back. Okay. Hey, Pam. Pam says retrograde. I've seen a lot of physical paid the last 2 days now, physical exhaustion. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. So we only have those two on the list. If you're watching and you'd like to get on the list, you absolutely can. I would love to read for you. You would be third in line. And right now I'm about to read for the Wellness AC. And then I'm going to read for Diane, and then it would be your turn. You might need to repost it because as you see, there's a lot of chit chat going on, Diane. So if for some reason, like there's chit chat and your question gets pushed up, then yeah, I'm gonna need you to repost it. But for right now, we're okay. But just be ready to repost it just in case I need it. Okay. Um, let us let me find Zoom and share the screen so y'all can watch me put together lovely Wellness AC's chart. Get that out of the way. All right. And let's see. January 3rd, 91. And Toronto, Canada, 6:06 p.m. So if you're new and this is your first time joining me for a live mini reading, you kind of see the format here. You're going to give me your birth details first, just like the Wellness AC did, and then you're going to give me your question, okay? And I'm going to set a timer. Each mini reading gets about 5 minutes with about a 1 to 2 minute wrap. And I set the timer for it and we go from there. Okay. Pam H is on the list. Let's see. I'm feeling stuck. I'm hoping to find out timing of major changes of choices or choices. Okay, got it. I'm not sure where you're stuck. Like, can you tell me which area of life? because I can focus on one. These are all different houses. Okay, so hopefully life, business, career. Okay, thank you very much for clarifying. So again, guys, be specific really helps me out a lot. Okay, so Wellness ASD says she's stuck in work stuff, work business. Okay, cool. Um, Amazing. Layla, welcome. My moderator, Kylie, will let you know how to get on the list. Okay. It's a paid list, and if you'd like me to read for you, you can definitely jump on it. Your midheaven is governed here by Mars, and I see you're going through a very active period of awakening with Uranus crossing over your natal Mars. When Uranus touches the governor of your career sector, which is the midheaven, what ends up happening is you can find yourself in a period of time of not really knowing which way is up or which way to go, specifically because you may be feeling like you're getting some new ideas about what you want to do, some new um, insights, some new revelation. Your hopes, wishes, goals, and dreams, and those are all governed by the 11th house, are going to be changing. And because your dreams are changing, there's going to be some level of transformation when it comes to what you're doing at work. So this is an exciting period of time for you because I do feel like it may feel a little chaotic, but if you can roll with the changes and take the necessary action, you are going to find that there is tremendous opportunities for growth during this season. But it is going to require that you transform your vision and what you're thinking about in terms of your opportunities. Additionally, I'll say that there is something going on with um, nope, it's not that. But when I look at this, this is telling me that you may actually need to consider, and I hate to tell people this because I know, at least in America, the challenges with it, but there is some indication that you might need to go back to school in some format in order to accomplish your dreams. And if you're stuck in this arena, my suspicion is it's because that particular piece of getting the education you need to accomplish your dreams feels out of reach in some way. However, because Saturn is here as the governor of your sixth house, where there are mentors and guides, or at least partners and collaborators who can give you some insight, there are some people around you at this time who may have some insight about how you can go back to school if you wanted to go back to school in a way that is going to be feasible, reasonable, doable, and accomplishable for you. Again, it's something I hate to tell people. However, I also, I'm in school, I just started this week. Okay, perfect. I see that the school thing is what's really going to help clarify your options and paths forward and really lay a foundation and some inroads into the accomplishment of some of your dreams. So, this is really exciting. I love that you are back in school because your chart definitely indicates the necessity of it. Give this some time. I feel like clarity is coming when it comes to work stuff, but it's going to come a little bit in fits and spurts. There'll be some like lightning type flashes of insight, and then from there, you're going to be able to put some pieces together, a bit like a puzzle, in the fullness of time. Give it this year, give it next year. And as you step into next year, around February, March is when I really see you having some clarity, like, lightning, this is what I want to do, like some revelation and an aha moment. Diane, if you could go ahead and paste your question. I'm wrapping up here with the Wellness AC. Please post your birth details first so I can create your chart. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing when it comes to you, and in this moment when it comes to your next step. I also see that there is some level of dreaming bigger that you need to do. And I think you've probably already started it with the proximity of Uranus to your natal Mars. Um, I think that you probably already started your big dreams. The challenge is going to be having enough faith to believe that you can, if you dreamt it, it's because it's achievable for you. So, if you can lean into that, I think you're going to be okay. But yeah, the clarity is forthcoming. School's definitely going to help because you're going to learn some stuff about which things it's like, oh, I could take this path or this path in this field. Well, I definitely don't want that one, but I'm glad that I learned what it's about if I go in that direction. And in that clarity, you're going to, as you take these steps in school specifically, I do see you having some greater clarity about what you can do with your time. All right, Diane, you're up. So Oak Park, Illinois, 9 a.m., 6/17/64. Got it. You're very welcome, the Wellness AC. Good luck. Good luck, love. Okay, so Diane's on the list, and I then also received payment from Pam H, Elaine, Pam T, Pam, or no, is it J? Hang on, there's like two Pams here. Yeah, Pam J, not T, and then Miriam C. So we'll go in that order. If you'd like to jump on the list, you can. Live mini reads, and I would love to read for you after I read for Miriam C. Just make your payment. It is up here in the pinned comment. Hit that PayPal link, send 3333 to that PayPal email address, and you'll be on the list. Let's go ahead and read for Diane. Diane wants to know, I would love to know what my love life looks like for the remainder of the year or next year. Thank you. Yeah, let's get into it. Yes, Miriam is on the list. Right? Hello to the Pams, Kylie. Okay, so your love life is governed by sign of Aquarius. Planetary ruler is Uranus and Saturn. So I'm going to be looking for some transits to both to show me what the opportunities are. So next year and the remainder of this year, we're going to have Jupiter, the opportunity bringer, get into Gemini and Cancer in that house of wish fulfillment. I mean, you're already in a period of time now where there's some strong potential for someone to come your way in love, as Gemini is harmoniously aspecting Aquarius here. Thank you so much, Kylie. Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what I'm seeing here with Jupiter in this place is that this is the beginning of a period where there are some options, and this period extends, I want to say, through next July. And the options that you're going to have are going to be significantly better than options you would have had before now. Let me just confirm that it is next July. But in order to find these options, what your part, the universe is going to cue them up, but your part is to, yeah, next July, is to get into some conversations with your friends and maybe even colleagues and let them know that you're open, you're looking. Do they have a brother, a cousin, someone that they know that is looking for someone like you, or that at least you're open to introductions, is what this is talking about. Between now and next July, if you are actively putting yourself out there, I do see that there's some strong potential to meet someone awesome. Um, but it is going to be, it's going to require a lot. I got to be honest, this is going to really require some letting go of the past, I'm seeing, and releasing some of your old needs in love. And that's going to happen as we get into the second half of the year. And I'm not saying that you would need to compromise. That's not it. What I'm saying is more like there are some dreams that you may have had about what is ideal for you in a partnership that you may have outgrown, that were appropriate for a younger version of who you are. As we get into the fall of this year and we start to see the South Node transit your moon this fall, this is really going to help open your eyes to where you have had some outdated ideas about what you need in a partner and get you to a place of putting certain things down because they were dreams of yesteryear. They were not fulfilled, and you are not yesteryear's version of you. You need to lean into what are the versions of this year's you, dreams for this version. And so pay attention to that, so that when you're vetting and meeting people, you're actually really capable of being present with the person in front of you and not your checklist, right? Come from the heart and not from the head. And I think you'll be on your way to finding someone who is a perfect match in the next 1 year's period of time. But again, you're going to have to put it out there. And the options really do seem to come through your friendship circle and your colleagues. Okay. Um, well done, Diane. I see you've come out of a very challenging period of time in love. Pam H, you're next, and then Elaine, and then Pam J. Pam H, if you could go ahead and drop your birth details and drop your birth details and your question, that would be amazing. And if you would like to get on the list, you certainly can. I'm going to read for Pam H, then Elaine, then Pam J, then Miriam C, and then it's going to be your turn. All you need to do is click on the pinned comment up above, drop 3333 at that PayPal. That'll get you on the list. And then we'll be able to read for you after I complete for Miriam. Okay. So yeah, I'm wishing you all the best, Diane C. Like I said, I see you've come out of a difficult period of time and love. And hooray, gold medal. You survived it. And now it's time to move forward and look to the opportunities coming forward to you. Okay, Pam H. Okay. Spearfish, South Dakota. Once again, thank you, Kylie. Always great to have you when you're able to be here. See you later. Have a great rest of your evening and good luck tonight. Spearfish, 122, 1968, 2:57 a.m. Spearfish, South Dakota. Okay, yep. All right. Let's make sure I've got it all. 1:22:68, Spearfish, 2:57 a.m. Okay, great. Set the timer for Pam. I'm physically exhausted after several days of extreme physical pain. Oh, wow. Does this have to do with the retrograde? It feels like there's definitely a shift. That's a really good question. Is this physical pain kind of out of the blue? Or is this physical pain something that you've dealt with before? I'm looking around the wheel to see what might be activating it. Any of our physical realities, if it is something that you've dealt with before, I just need to know, when was the date of onset, Pam? Our physical reality in like terms of our physical body and the way we're experiencing it, our physical health is governed by the sixth house. Your sixth house is Taurian. Taurus has two rulers, Venus and Juno. And I'm looking around the wheel to see about activations to both. Okay. I see we have a bit of a Chiron trine here to Venus. And that's what I got. I've dealt with in the past out of the blue. When was I need to know the date of onset, Pam? When was the first time this happened? Even if all you can give me is a month and a year, that would be ideal. So I can take a look at. I've been having these experiences for 3 years. Give me the month and the year of onset so I can look at what it would have been pertaining to. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm looking around. 3 years ago, we would have seen, let me just go back 3 years. And today, transits. This, if you've dealt with it for 3 years, this is not a Mercury retrograde thing. Mercury retrograde wouldn't cause random pain out of the blue unless Mercury was tied up in the date of onset for you, which is what I would need to know. Okay, yeah, Lewis is not close enough. Closest estimate is November of 2021. Okay, let's seek a look. Uh, oh, interesting. Okay, so we do have a Venus Juno conjunction here. And then let me just see who would have been speaking to Venus and Juno at that period of time. Polis is less involved, but sort of involved with regard to Juno. But let me see. Chiron is involved. Nope, Chiron's in conjunct. Okay. Ah, okay. That's sextile. This is telling me that there's something probably congenital, um, or like a genetic thing that perhaps you were born with. Um, like a gene that it got activated at some point in 2021. I would see your doctor, first of all, Pam. And I would see specifically a genetic specialist, to get a sense of why, like, what is this related to? Like, it could be something like fibromyalgia or MS, or sciatic pain based on what I'm seeing here. I definitely see that it's something related to your nervous system and your nerves that frankly seems to get very activated whenever there are major changes in love and or relationship. And some of this is like stress in friendships can really bring this out as well for you, or stress with siblings, cousins, or like neighbors, like the interpersonal stress with inner circle type of people. Um, it does look like the stress of the interpersonal relationship stuff does seem to aggravate your nervous system. Um, yes, love bug, only option at this time. So I would say the best thing for you to do, some of this is going to be helped a lot by somatic work that helps calm down your nervous system. But I would also see a doctor to just double check, like, is there anything genetically linked to nervous system disorders that you need to know about? I'd specifically see a doctor who specializes in functional medicine and who will run a gene code for you and look at the specific genetic mutations that you have related to your nervous system. Because once you know what these things are, there are certain like supplements and like food adjustments that you can make that will really help calm this down. But I gotta say, it definitely looks like this for you is related to interpersonal stress more than anything. And it's the combination of interpersonal stress combined with some sort of genetic variation that allows your body to go into this state of pain periodically. Okay. Functional medicine doctor, someone who's going to look at your genes. That's going to help you tremendously. Okay. Full labs. Thank you. Good. Well, hopefully they ran a genetic panel for you. And if they didn't request it, and if they don't know what that's about or even how to read it, talk to a doctor who does. Okay. Um, Elaine, you're up. Please paste your Q and birth details. Okay, so we're going to do Elaine. After Elaine, it's Pam J, then Miriam, and then you. If you'd like to get on the list, you absolutely can. The link to do that is below this YouTube or at the pinned comment in this YouTube video. You're going to see it right up here. You click on that PayPal link and it'll take you to where you need to go. Okay. 3333 to that PayPal link, and you'll be right on the list after Miriam. Right now, we're going to read for Elaine and then Pam J. Pam J, if you would be so kind as to get your question ready. You see the format that the ladies here have been posting in. They give me their birth info first, then they give me their question. And if you can get yourself ready so that the minute I call your name, you can paste, we'll be off to the races. Offering one question, live mini readings for your chart only. So if you've got a question about the upcoming retrogrades, the eclipses, you want to know about challenges like some of the ones you've heard about today, let me know. I would be happy to read for you once you're on the list. I can't believe we're already in the second half of this year. Okay. Orange, California, 11/29/84, 2:18 p.m. Fabulous. Thank you, Elaine, for being ready when I called your name. Pam J, go ahead and get yourself ready. And Pam and Miriam, double check that you're current in the chat. What you're going to want to do is take a look at the bottom of your screen. This little red ball should not be back here with all of this space up here. Make sure your red ball is all the way here. Okay, you can drag and pull it. Alternatively, you can go out, close the live stream, come right back in, and it'll put you at the current place. Okay. So just make sure you're current so that the conversation can keep flowing. Elaine wants to know, is there a transit in my chart at the moment that could explain why an energy of heavy self-critique and intense worry is present? Ah, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Ah, yes. Okay, I see it. Um, hmm. What's your name? What you know? Okay. And is there an area of healing it, trying to point, it's trying to point me towards an actual core wound, asking for attention, leaky energetic boundaries? Am I soaking up other people's anxieties and internalizing? Or is this a passing transit that more just needs some recognition and release through clearing and will pass on? The critique catastrophizing inner rabbit holes are often about social interactions. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this would play a role too. Okay. Not during, but after. And it's been about menial things that I would usually not be stressing over. Yeah, I would say there's a couple of things going on here. The first one that stands out quite loudly is this Chiron doing a retrograde dance back and forth over your horizon line. When Chiron steps into view in the first house, anything that is like one of our, what we think may be one of our flaws, does tend to come to light and come to awareness and consciousness. It gives us an opportunity to look at what's the difference between a flaw, and just being different in character. I also see one of the things going on is Pluto stepping into the sign that governs your friendships, and your colleague relationships. This is going to have you step into your power in these relationships. And if you have been in a different relationship to your power with these people and you're suddenly starting to step into your power, it can feel a little weird, a little awkward, a little uncomfortable. You might be in a place where, because your relationship to power is one where your relationships only thrive if you are a little bit disempowered, self-questioning, self-deprecating. If this is the way your relationships keep glued together, with Pluto stepping into the sign that governs your friendships and Chiron jumping into your first house, I can see how you would begin to spiral because Pluto wants you to step into greater power, authority, and seniority in your interactions with people. And Chiron here is constantly going to point out to you where you're different from other people and actually really need to own it instead of trying to hide it, blend in, or shave your edges. And so that combination in your chart is asking you to really step into significantly greater wholeness when it comes to your interactions with people. Uranus jumping into the house of self-worth, self-esteem, and earned income here is aiding the process by asking you to orient to your self-worth, self-esteem in a wholly elevated way. Again, if you've got relationships that have you that really only work and have thrived in the last decade or more because your self-esteem on a scale of 1 to 10 has been a 4, now that these planets are inviting you to step into self-esteem level 8, which Uranus will do, Uranus wants you to skip steps. If you start to do these new things with people kind of on instinct, which Chiron and Pluto have us operate on, it can suddenly make you feel quite self-conscious as you're taking on these new activities, actions, behaviors, differences, owning your uniqueness, your unique desires, your unique wants, your unique opinions, your differences in perspective, and your unwillingness to hide these things. Hey, Pam J, if you could go ahead and post, it is your turn. I'd love to go ahead and read for you. Just make sure that you give me your birth details first, and we'll be off to the races. This isn't something for you, Elaine, that's going to be over necessarily, that you just kind of need to wait out. This is actually something that you need to evolve around. This energy is meaning to trying to catalyze you into a version of yourself who has greater ownership of her world, greater authority and autonomy in the ways that she interacts with people. You don't have to be the same as people in order to be connected to them. And these three are trying to help you see how important it is to own that connection isn't about likeness or sameness. Connection is actually about respect and love and appreciation for uniqueness. Connection comes from us fitting different pieces together, not trying to shave off our differences in order to fit with others. So this is an evolution point for you. The stress that you're feeling is quite normal for someone who, Pisces moon, Sag sun. You're the kind of person who normally gets along with everyone, but I do see that during this period of time, that's not what it's supposed to be. You may even find that you lose a few friends during this transit since Pluto creates endings and it's transiting that 11th placement. You're going to find that a few people may not be coming with you to your next chapter. Since Pam J is not ready, Miriam C, go ahead and post your question. We will come back to Pam J. But Miriam C, go ahead and post your question. So Elaine, I would say it's going to serve you to get into a place of really like understanding that you're not doing anything wrong, but starting to really look at what am I not owning? What part of me needs greater, was asking for greater visibility in that interaction that I just had? How can I feel more comfortable letting that part of me be visible? Okay, that's what this is about. Okay, yeah, let me know how that resonates. But that's what I got. I'm wishing you the best as you move through it. This stretches into the middle of next year. I'm going to be honest with you. But again, this is about self-ownership more than anything else. Okay. After Miriam C, I've added to the list Love Bug and Jessica B. You both are on the list. Don't post yet. Wait till I call your name. Happy Lionsgate, everyone. Let's go ahead and put in the birth details for our lovely Miriam C. 1982 at 6:42 a.m. 9:14:82, 6:42 a.m. Los Angeles, California. Okay, fabulous. All right. Cool. And let's just see. Let me come back to my timer. Elaine says this makes complete sense. It's friends and colleagues. It does tend to be in times where we have a difference of opinion. And in my mind and nervous system has a heyday with it. Like this is the thing that will end the friendship. And it might, Elaine, it might. You're meant to be moving into a time of greater acceptance of yourself. And in greater acceptance of yourself, you're going to get yourself in closer proximity with people who also accept you and your opinions and points of views, and away from people who don't respect them. Okay. Hey, love, peace, freedom, totally live. Reading now for Miriam C. Let's go ahead and get into it. Um, let's see. Are there any positive changes coming my way financially? Well, okay, ma'am. You have an interesting period of time coming up financially, next year in particular. But let's start off with where we have been. We just had the South Node leave your second house. Hurrah! The problem there would have been any way of making money that wasn't aligned with who you are or asked you to be somehow less of who you are, or imbalanced power dynamics would have been flushed out of your financial life. That job would have excused you, or you would have quit the job. No. I also see here that your house of earned income is governed by both Venus and Juno. Where's my friend Juno? Here we go. 26 degrees Sag, 8 degrees Virgo, and impacts coming from Saturn by square, impacts coming from Neptune by square, and Chiron by sextile, sorry, trine. Okay, so there is Yes, and the answer to your question is yes, and you're in for a little bit of a bumpy ride, specifically because I see that your chart and your this segment of your life is really trying to help you get to a place of owning what the heck it is you actually want to do without giving up on it and without being double-minded or diverting yourself or side hustling yourself into exhaustion. There is a level of focus that this is trying to ask you to bring to the table when it comes to your career so that your money can also be focused. Simultaneously, I am also seeing some influence here that speak to the minute you get it, you spend it. And that being a real problem when it comes to being able to invest in a specific direction with your business or career, whichever one you've got. There really needs to be a tightening of the reins financially. And I think you're going to get the hang of this by the time we get into May, June, and July of next year. And we've got Saturn and Neptune square in conjunction and then square your natal Juno. I think you're probably going to financially, I'm going to be honest, it does look like you need some help. And this specifically looks like either help from a partner or help from a family member that's going to guide you into either some different habits around spending or really show you some different ways to negotiate getting a raise or getting like job hopping until you get to financially a better place. For some reason, there is some level of it looks like some challenge, I gotta be honest, to your self-esteem when it comes to really standing up for what you should be making at this section of your life. Is the money available to be made? Absolutely. Is the money around you at this season? Absolutely. But if there has been spending due to trying to fill in emotional gaps or to build yourself up, like, oh, I deserve this cupcake. Oh my gosh. I was watching these comedians last night have a conversation about a $32 smoothie at Air One. And you know where Air One is. I was like, oh my gosh, $32 on a smoothie, but the two of them said it was life-changing and they were not joking. Um, but you got to really look at your life at the moment. Is a $32 smoothie in is it the right thing for you or is it an aspirational thing for you? Whether it's coming from a life partner, a business partner, or a family member, I do see that there are some people who are going to help you make better financial decisions around your spending. I'm also seeing that some of these people can also assist you with stepping into the negotiations required if what you have is a job to start getting paid more. So, um, this, like I said, a bit of a bumpy road, especially as we get into the first 6 months of next year. There does seem to be some sort of rectification and cleanup with regard to debt. It does seem to start as early as December with the Mars retrograde. And once that's happened, by the time we get into this time next year, Miriam, it does look like you're in a significantly better space. But the financial change that's coming for you is truly going to come as a result of choices you're making now. And this is a maturation transit for you, where the planets are really saying, Miriam, we want to bless you with more money. Girl, you've got to step into a new relationship with money, mindset, and behavior in order for us to give it to you. But absolutely, hey, love bug, go ahead and post. Um, you're going to be next. I'm going to wrap up now with Miriam. But Miriam, this is saying that the money's here. The new job is here. The opportunity is here. Jupiter and Mars just about to land here in your 10th house. It's going to bring the monies for sure. But there is some real necessity. There's some cleanup I'm seeing has to be done when it comes to the way you're spending in a day-to-day kind of way. and the way you're earning in a day-to-day kind of way to really support you with getting into the prosperity and abundance that is absolutely yours to have. Okay. Thank you, Miriam. Lovebug, go ahead and post. It was great to read for you. Let me know how that resonates. If you want to get on the list, you absolutely can. All you need to do is drop a payment to this PayPal address in the pinned comment above. Right now, I'm going to read for Lovebug, then Jessica B, then Jamie. Jamie, welcome to the list. And then after that, if Pam J is back, I'm going to read for her. And then it would be your turn. And yeah, I'm really excited to do our Lionsgate mini readings. Welcome in, everybody, and welcome, Camille. Awesome to have you. Nope, Camille, we're just getting started and warming up, so feel free to jump on the list. Okay, so let's come on back here. Set up Lovebug's chart. Hey, Texas, Houston, 2/24, 1985, 8:59 p.m. a.m. Let's just double check that. 2:24:85, 8:59 a.m. Houston. All right, Lovebug, let's get into it. Okay, Jennifer is on the list, and so too is Camille. Thank you both. I'll be right with you. Okay, so let me set the timer for our lovely Lovebug. Want to know about my love life and if you see marriage or anything. Thanks. Been learning astrology for a few years now, but I'm excited for a true professional to look at my chart. Aw, I love it. And Mandy, yep, we're live. So happy to have you. Feel free to jump on the list. Found you through Pink Skies and Spiritual Baddie. Love me some Spiritual Baddie. She's amazing. Please tell her thank you for sending you my way. I know she's got a lot going on this week. We both do. So I don't know if she's going to stop by, but definitely tell her hi next time you see her. Okay, so let's just try that again. Love Bugs wants to know about marriage, so let's get into it. Your seventh house of marriage and partnership is governed by the sign of Libra. And Libra here has two joint rulers. One is Venus at the 17th degree of Aries, and one is Juno at the 11th degree of Libra. You're coming out of, I should say, a more challenging time in love with Chiron having conjunct your natal Venus. I see there's been some real issues when it comes to really trusting your own self, like trusting yourself as worthy of love and capable of having the love that you really want. But I see you're on the other side of that. And the answer to the question, hopefully you landed there, but I will certainly reassure you, the answer is yes, you can have what you want. Mandy, if you'd like to get on the list, just jump on it. And as soon as I call your name, then it will be your turn. Okay. But right now, I've got some other people to read who are in front of you. So just pay attention to the flow, watch how this goes, and you'll when I call your name, that'll be the time to paste your birth details. Love Bug, back to you. Looking at your chart, opportunities that are coming in love are typically brought in by the planet Jupiter if we want something significant. You spoke of marriage, so I'm going to speak to that with you. With this Jupiter at present time, in harmonious aspect to your natal Juno, which is all about marriage and cusp of your seventh house of commitment and partnership, you are in one of the better opportunities and times for love to come in for you. one of the things that is going to serve you is to start to get yourself out there. There's also been a real change I see to your self-worth and self-esteem. It's going to be necessary for you to start to think about yourself in more positive terms when it comes to love. I see here that you've got some planetary support and some aid around that. And I also see that when it comes to love, in terms of meeting someone, especially as we get into late this year and early next year, it's going to be your siblings, your cousins, your neighbors, and your online interactions that are going to prove most fruitful. Welcome, Queen of Water. Great to have you. If you can let these people know your girl is single and ready to mingle, I am out here, not in these streets, but definitely out here looking for a connection. If you can let people know that you're ready for something serious and you're looking for introductions, that's going to really serve you. You may find that there are a couple of online connections that may show up. I don't know how you feel about online dating, but given the way your chart is set up, Gemini, which governs social media, third house, Aquarius, which governs online internet and new methods of dating. This is going to be a combination of things that showcase you meeting people through online endeavors just as much as the siblings, the cousins, and the neighbors. So if you're ready, I would say the timing is really ripe for love to come in during now through the end of the year. Because you've got this Libra seventh house, as we get into the eclipse on October 2nd, it does look like you are one of the people who's going to have someone from your past show up looking for a second chance. You may even be the one showing up looking for a second chance from someone. So if you actually really feel like you're not complete with someone, you're in a different place consciously, and you're in a place where what you really want to do is see about the options available to you, now would be the time to begin to prepare your confidence to just reach out and let that person just see where that person is at. It does look like with the Jupiter Mars trine to Libra, you may be the one to initiate and reach out as we get into the month of October. But I would just stay open-minded. And like I said, let the friends and family know, hey, I'm looking. And I think you're going to find that someone does show up who is looking for you. And the quality of that does look really good between now and I would say January, February. Okay. Love bug, that's what I got. Wishing you the best of luck with this. Um, okay, Pamela. Hmm. Okay, Pam, I'm gonna take you since you just came back, but for future reference for everyone else, if you happen to leave the live stream, I have to put you at the very end of the line. There are so many people who have joined the list, and out of respect for everyone who's patiently taking the opportunity to wait their turn, I get it. If you cannot stay at the end of this live stream, I will refund you if you cannot stay. But I also have to let other people have their turn. Okay. So, um, Pam, I'm going to squeeze you in, but everyone else from here forward, especially because I know not all of you are from my private list. If you're on my private list, you already know this. If you go away and you come back, I put you at the end of the line if I've passed your turn. So stay present. I move quickly. Okay. Let's go ahead and do Pam J. And then we'll do Jessica B. Jessica B, don't post yet. I am going to call your name when I'm done with Pam J. And then Jessica B, when it's your turn and I've called your name, that's when I want you to post your question. All right. Let's see. 6, 28, 1970. Birth time 1:09 p.m. Few people have joined the list. I have got so after I read for Pam J, I'm going to do Jessica B, Jamie, Jennifer H, Camille, Manisa, Trisha, Melinda, and then Stephanie in that order. Okay, so guys, sit tight. I'm going to move through this as quickly as I can. Pam J says she wants to know about the upcoming eclipses. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you eclipse number 1, which is 9/17. I guess 9/18. There we go. This is going to be the first of a new eclipse cycle. This eclipse cycle stretches into 2027, and it is the, oh, hang on, let me come and fix that. Chart data. That transits, display transits, your date, 9/17. There we go. This is the Pisces Virgo eclipse axis. For you, this is going to take place on your axis of power, and it's going to kick off a 2-year-long cycle of needing to deal with your power dynamics in relationships with people. The 6/12 axis, this is your mental health, this is physical health, but in addition to that, this also speaks about imbalanced power dynamics. And imbalanced power dynamics, these are people you hire, anyone from an associate at a job who is a direct report to you, to a physical therapist or a doctor, or a regular therapist, mental health therapist. These are all 6th house related people. Anyone you report to or has hired you is a 6th house person. During this eclipse cycle for you, because this is the kickoff of that cycle, you're going to see a lot of changes in terms of things that people that you need to, that you're relating to in these imbalanced power dynamics ways. Some of these people are going to leave your life. You are going to leave some of these people's lives. And what you're going to want to do is start to pay attention, because this eclipse in particular deals with Pluto, which is about power. Pluto governs your 2nd house of self-worth and self-esteem. Because this is really going to activate your relationship to the way you feel about yourself, Pam, your life is going to start to move in such a way that puts you on notice. If you do not clean up certain things about the way you value yourself and get it into right alignment and right order, your life is going to take a different shape in a way that values you the way you're valuing yourself. And so a lot of this is going to be about closures and endings with people who don't value you correctly, you invalidating your value, where you have found that, even just the way you're making money, that 2nd house is about earned income as well. If you're making money in a way that doesn't value you correctly, you're going to find that job closes, and it doesn't close to leave you in a bad spot. It closes because it's time for you to step up. It's time for you to work on making more. So that's the first eclipse, okay? And if you want to go deeper, we can definitely do that in a private reading, because I don't have time to give you the full overview here. But the second eclipse is a continuation of the cycle we're already in, the Aries Libra eclipse cycle. And this for you has been all about relationships and partnerships and who you are in your relationships and partnerships. With a Libra 1st house, and you're going to get this solar eclipse here in this department. This is a new beginning for you in your love life. And this new beginning is specifically focused on you being a different person in relationships. There's a version of you may have left behind that you're going to bring back online. Jessica B, it is your turn. Jessica, please go ahead and paste your question. And then after Jessica B, we'll do Jamie. Melinda, it is not your turn here. So I'm going to ask you to delete this and hold it until I get to you because we're a bit of ways away. But in closing for you, Pam, it does look like parts of you that you have left behind or lost to challenging relationships. We've been through something, we can sometimes lose a part of ourselves in a relationship. This is where you start to find that part of you comes back online with the second eclipse so that you have the opportunity to really breathe and thrive in relationship again. Again, I can't go into full details here. If you'd like to book out a private reading or a personal reading, I should say, you can do that over at kmoonastro.com and we can look at these eclipses in depth because there's a lot more that I can tell you, but 4 minutes is just not enough for how significant they are for you. But hopefully you got something there and it resonates. So I'm going to go ahead and read for Just B now. Just B was born in Quebec City, Canada. Okay, Canada, Quebec City. And welcome everyone who's just joining. Great to have you. Curious how everyone's Lionsgate is going. What experiences are you noticing with this Mercury retrograde, Lionsgate? What are you, what changes are you seeing? If you want to drop that in the chat, I would definitely be curious. Okay, so Just B, I'm going to hit the timer. The energies of 2022 to 2024 were intense. Okay. I'm looking around the wheel to see why that might have been. Separation, relocation, death, etc. Now what? I can't feel the direction when it comes down to love, twin, and relationship. Okay, got it. So you want to know about the direction in love. Love for you is going to be an interesting thing. You've got the Pisces governed seventh house of commitment and partnership. You've had Neptune in this house for about the last 4 or 5 years. And now we're about to have Saturn join. When Saturn and Neptune come together, they create this counterbalance. And this balancing act is one that relieves you of all deception and illusions, but also keeps you fully grounded in potential and possibility based on your wholeness and who you are. And so this combination, as they join up and meet in the early parts of next year, in the sign of Aries in the late part of Pisces, is really going to place you on a different track when it comes to love. Part of the reason you cannot feel the direction is Uranus and Venus conjunct your natal Venus as well. You've moved through a period of significant elevation. You also have this Pholus and Ceres conjunct your natal Juno. Venus is love, Juno is the marriage and the commitment. And so with Pholus and Ceres also speaking to Juno, there is a release of toxicity having to do with family patterns. This is the fourth house you have inherited in love and marriage at this time that's preparing you for an opportunity for elevation in love. Ninth house is second marriage, second chances. And so this combination and confluence of energy really does have you a bit on timeout, so to speak. If we were to consider this a psychic surgery and liken it to a physical surgery, surgeons don't allow other people in the surgical theater. When you are going through a change of this particular nature, you end up finding that you are most likely alone, but it's because the shape of your puzzle piece is morphing so rapidly that trying to have someone lock into consistency, stability, and continuity with you is near impossible because you're becoming so different day by day. Anyone you lock in with during a transit like this, you're very likely to outgrow within 90 days to 6 months. It's you happen to be growing in such a way that you are just becoming such a different person. this is a time of timeout. Again, psychic surgery, liken it to that. We also have this movement of the South Node having transited your second house of self-worth, self-esteem, purging any disbeliefs or limiting beliefs about yourself, traveling through this first house, relieving you of 100% of your personality traits that have blocked your ability to have the love you want stabilize. This is a significant period of purging, releasing, and rebuilding for you, Jess. So I'm going to ask you to sit tight because what's coming is going to be good. It's really going to start with a lot of career changes with Jupiter moving into your 10th house. There's going to be some stabilization financially and career-wise. After that takes place, there does seem to be a level of wholeness that gets evoked in the world of career or in the world of love after your career has gotten to a completely new place. So I understand you really wanted to know about love, but what I can see here is that this chart is saying, let's put love on hold. Let's make some major changes inside of you, in your spirit, in your soul, in your will, mind, and emotions. And then from there, let's change your career life because how you're going to settle into union and commitment is going to be predicated on you being a completely different person than the person you happen to be at the moment. Jamie, go ahead and post your question. It is your turn. After Jamie, we have Jennifer H, then Camille, and then Manisa in that order. I also have Trisha, Melinda, and Stephanie on the list. And so I'm going to ask all of you to just refresh your feed in case you happen to be behind. Go out, close the live stream, come back in so that you're at the current place in the feed and in the live stream, and there's no delay when I call your name. It'll be necessary for us to keep the list moving, that everyone is current. Jess, I'm going to say for you in closing, and Jamie, please go ahead and post your question. Jess, I'm going to say for you in closing that the changes that are being made now internally in your mind, your heart, your emotions, that soul level are helping you become the person that is a fit for the union that you have envisioned. But in order for you to get there, those changes on the inside, they're timeline wise, there do seem to be more changes on the outside in the parts of your life that have nothing to do with love that need to happen before love locks in. Okay. And once those changes unfold, you're going to be the correct shape of puzzle piece that allows love to not just come in, but also stay. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead now and read for Jamie and then Jennifer H. Jennifer H, if you would get your question ready, that would be amazing. Okay. Let's go ahead and read for Jamie now. And if you're just joining, welcome. Great to have you. Let's see. Stephanie says I sent my PayPal. Is there anything else I need to get? Nope, you're on the list, Stephanie. Just let me know how that resonates for you. Jamie says that she was born in Millinocket, Maine. Millinocket. 114 1977 1:23 a.m. Yep, Angela, there's room. The list is not closed. I'm going to be here for a little while. So as long as you make your payment, I can put you on the list. Okay. Okay, let me set the timer for Jamie. And Jennifer H, go ahead and get ready. So Jamie says, this year has been rough with death of my sister and nephew. Yes, I remember we've talked about this. A few weeks ago, my son opted to move to his dad's, and I'm devastated and an empty nester 3.5 years before I expected. Options are 1, I stay and wait. If he changes his mind, This feels powerless to me. Number two, I sell this big house and move to a smaller place and change nothing else. Number three, I sell this house and take a 1 year assignment in Europe starting in Q1. Wow. Or four, I sell the house, take an old job back. They reached out and moved to be near mom and my brother a few hours away. Girl, I got 5 minutes to answer this question. And this is a major life question. I'm going to tell you right now, because I love you, you need a private reading for this. 3333 with a level of a question of this caliber deserves its own time. So I'm going to do the best I can with the time that I've got, but give yourself more time to look at this in totality so that you are not in a place of like, or just take this for entertainment value. That's your other option here. Five, live on savings and start a business finally. Okay. With the amount of fixed energy in your chart, and especially on the horizon, as well as some other placements, where is your natal Mars? Mars and Sun are together in Cap. I'm just going to say a business is not going to feel as good to you as you think. What I will say, though, based on these other options, let's look at the transits. Is long distance travel and relocation indicated? Um, Moon is the governor of the ninth house. Um, Natal moon is in Scorpio. Right. Okay. What year were you born? 77. Wow. Mm-mm. Right now, well, 2025, I can see it. With Jupiter jumping into your ninth house middle of next year, I can see you moving, but it wouldn't be a Q1 thing when you settle in. It was going to be like a Q2 thing when you settle in. End of Q2, beginning of Q3. Maybe even yeah. Home is governed by Uranus and Saturn. Either way, it looks like selling the house. This is, if you're going to sell that house, this is the time at which it does look like you're likely to make the most money. Anytime between now and March. If you can sell the house between now and then, the potential for you to make the most amount of money is exceptionally high. So that narrows down a couple of things. Long distance travel is certainly supported by your chart. Let me look at the rest of this. Take an old job back. They reached out. Okay, so the sun here. Um, you could go back to an old job. I would need to really understand more about it to really know if it fits in with the direction life is moving. I don't have enough information to answer that. Um, Jennifer H, go ahead and post your question while I wrap up here with Jamie. And let me see what else you happen to say. Hey, Flower, welcome. So great to have you, babe. So grateful you're here. C lease PG 1383 is not on the list. If you want to let them know how to get on the list, I think you already did, but they are not on the list. Um, Move to be near your mother and brother. Mom is here. Sibling is natal Saturn here. You could do that. It depends on how quickly the house sells. Um, if the house were to sell in like 30 days, I would say that would be a fabulous choice. But if the house is not going to sell in the next like 30 to 90 days, I would say um abroad does look a bit better. for you. It does look like maybe a year abroad actually does a lot for you. And perhaps on a soul level, your son knew if he goes to the dad's house, then you're free to do this travel. Because I do see some level of overseas travel really serving you. But yeah, I would need to really sit down with you in your chart and like look at this from all the different angles and understand each of the opportunities to give you correct guidance. Okay. So please consider booking. Jamie, thank you for looking, or for booking or for letting me do a mini read with you. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and read for Jennifer A. Bear. And let's see. After Jennifer, I'm going to read for Camille. The list is moving. I want to thank everyone who's on it for their patience. I also want to thank everyone who is on it for being ready when I call your name. If you're on the list, you definitely want to be ready when I call your name because that's what's going to allow me to. I would book the 60, Jamie. I have a feeling you're going to have some questions about why all of these departures in this particular time frame, and that's going to take some time to map out for you. And it'll be really validating for your healing. But if all you really want to talk about is just this move and that is it, 30 is enough. But if you have other stuff you want to look at, do the 60. Okay. Um, Illinois, Kankakee. Thank you to everyone who is so patiently waiting. Thank you to everyone who's got their question ready when I call your name. It definitely keeps us moving, okay? You're welcome, Jamie. You're very, very, very welcome. Looking forward to chatting with you soon, hon. Okay. 60 is, yeah. Okay, so Camille, you're next, and then Manisa, Trisha, Melinda, and then Stephanie in that order. Um, what I'm going to just remind everyone to do, if you are on the list, stay current in the live stream. The best way to do that is at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see this red line and the bouncing ball. Make sure your red ball is all the way over to the edge of your screen. You don't want it back here because this means you're behind. You're not current. You want it all the way over at the edge. All right. When you are current, that means you'll know when I call your name. Okay. So Jennifer says, my survival restaurant job has become extremely difficult, and I have a strong impulse to quit right now, like tomorrow, and go to another restaurant. Oh, yet I also keep hearing guidance that I should stay until the lesson here is complete. Not sure which voice to listen to. P.S. Acting business has been slow, but I found an amazing, life-changing acting teacher. I love that. Good job. Well done, you. You've had a lot of growth in the last year in career in general, especially or this year with Ceres and Pholus in Capricorn and preparing to move into your 10th house. And then South Node transiting Libra and that sixth house of service and day-to-day living. This would be really where the restaurant jobs have been so much growth, so much lessons, so much learning. Um, and there's been like, I almost see that there's been like, the best way I can describe it is like a stronghold, a dimension, a timeline that has closed out and ended completely for you when it comes to you being treated certain ways at work because you're no longer acting certain ways or behaving certain ways at work. I'm seeing that you have really stepped up in the way that you treat yourself, the boundaries you keep, the capacity at which you give and serve when you show up on set, and also when you show up in the world of the restaurant work. And because you're showing up in such a vastly different way, it's resetting and reprogramming the world around you around how to talk to you, how to interact with you, how to treat you. So, with that being said, should you quit the restaurant job like right now, tomorrow? I'm gonna say no, only because it's Mercury retrograde, and chances are you may regret that. But what I would also, unless you got hired on a Mercury retrograde, that is the only caveat. If you got hired on a Mercury retrograde and started this job during a Mercury retrograde, if you wanted to quit now, I'd say go for it, find another job. But without having that, you're gonna have to go back and look, was Mercury retrograde when I signed the starting paperwork and started. I would say instead, it actually looks like you are going to this actually changes a little bit, frankly, in terms of the way things start to move in that job. I think the experiences that you're having that is making it a bit challenging. I'm going to be honest, I feel like it is temporary. I think some of this is a function of the I think some of it is Ceres and Pholus, retrograde square, the transiting nodes, North node sitting on top of your sun, and the Ceres and Pholus sitting on top of Juno. A lot of this is helping you to purge some things about the way you handle yourself at work in terms of your potential and in terms of the way you let people treat you. There is some stronger lessons here that are coming through and getting weeded out and then planted into your subconscious mind about being yourself, being okay. In this case, I would say, girl, if it is that bad, they are probably also thinking of firing you. Get yourself some unemployment. Let them fire you. But I don't see it being that bad where they're gonna fire you. What I see unfolding here is you getting some light bulb and aha moments around where the way that you're showing up, it actually looks like you take on more responsibility than is appropriate, Jennifer, at your job. And because you're doing more, it is allowing other people to live in a state of learned helplessness, which is actually, when they do it for long enough, it actually becomes weaponized helplessness, where they pretend to not know, act like they don't know what they're doing, and it just ends up leaving you with more responsibility than is appropriate for where you're at. And what you're getting out of this at this time in terms of lessons is, yes, you're worth it. Yes, you're capable. Yes, you can do it. And some of this shit just ain't your job. Like, let these people step up. Know your limits, know your boundaries. It is okay if things are undone and left to other people. Let their incapacity to fulfill their jobs show. Stop covering for other people. Some of this is really going to help you come out of a season, and it's been a long one, Jennifer, of seeking validation by filling other people's holes and gaps and flaws. When you release the need to allow yourself to feel good, and the only way you get to feel good is by making up or being the compensatory factor in the way other people are underperforming. When you release that need, it's going to open up a world of equal partnership for you, not and really help you attract a job that respects you and is willing to pay you enough at probably a higher end restaurant, and sets where you're not subject to the fuckery that can happen on sets. Okay. Sorry for the cursing, but I didn't know another way to say what I was thinking without certain words. So there it is. Jennifer, you got this. Hang in there. I think by the time Mercury retrograde closes out, you're going to be in a different place. Camille, go ahead and post your question. You're going to see this very differently by the time Mercury retrograde closes out. And I think by that time as well, you're going to be ready, if you get another job after Mercury retrograde closes, I think you're going to find that you've gone through the integration of what I have just spoken to you about at such a much deeper level. And that completes for you an opportunity to get into a better paying job and a place that's just got better structure and organization. Because I see the structure and organization of where you're at is an absolute problem. It's a problem. So let the pieces fall. Let other people's weaponized helplessness, let it show. Let their deficiencies show. Okay. Okay. That's what I got. Camille is next. So we're gonna read for Camille, and then we're gonna read for Manisa, Trisha, Melinda, and Stephanie in that order. Thank you, Camille. Awesome to have you. So Camille is one of my Star Club students, and she is excellent as a reader. She is a brilliant reader with brilliant insights. And she not only does this, but I think you also do human design and tarot, which makes her kind of an all-around champion in many ways. So Camille, if you have like a website or links that you want to drop in the chat about where people can find you if they would like to do a reading, by all means, please do. Because like I said, you do it all. You do tarot, you do the human design, you're also doing the astrology. I would trust you with anyone here. Okay, so Camille, let me set the timer. Major closing and renewing of relationships that are not self-honoring. I feel misunderstood, yet self-honoring. Is this in alignment with star conversations, or am I in shadow? Feels very Eight of Cups, yet so empowering. Energy reprogramming. Yes, that's what she does. Energy reprogramming. Let's take a look. And her energy reprogramming is powerful. She shared some with our Star Club group, and everyone loved the clearing that she provided. So if you've got links, Camille, drop them while I read for you. Here we go. Um, what this is, this thing about feeling misunderstood and self-honoring, you know what this is. We've talked about this and you've seen it. This is Saturn transit the second house. You know what Saturn does. Saturn will castrate anything that's harming you. And simultaneously call you out in the second house of self-worth and self-esteem and say, hey, and this is very similar to the conversation I was just having with Jennifer. Where are you overcompensating with other people in order to get a sense of self-worth and validation uh, by trying to like just overcompensate, overgive, you know, where do you have a hole in your own self-esteem and self-worth that needs to be filled, and not by people who don't honor you, but by you honoring you? This is the question that Saturn through the second house is going to ask you to start to pay attention to and reckon with. And I get it. You know, this is challenging in part because you are also going through your Chiron return, major season of accepting yourself, warts and all, where you're at in life, good, bad, and indifferent. But this Chiron return as the, part of the context for this Saturn transit second house, this is really going to help you start to see, like, and you have it, you named it. There are some relationships that are not self-honoring right now. And it is necessary for you to release those or restructure those, or at least create new boundaries in those so that you're not exploiting or not subjecting yourself to being exploited by other people. Okay. The double Mars conjunction with Jupiter and Gem is where I'm wondering if I'm extrapolating. Not necessarily. If anything, this is really helping you get yourself into a place where your thoughts are like mad clear about where it's BS, like where you need to be. Your thinking is clear. I'm also going to say with these two conjunct, natal Mars is joint governor of 10, you're also getting some clarity about if I were to put X, Y, and Z down, this relationship down, this interaction down, I would have time, space, and energy to pick up A, B, and C career impact that I want to make. If I put this, like you, being shown you really have some clarity about a trade-off and that there's a real trade-off happening right now. You're not in a place, I was explaining this to a friend last night, who just, she was like, what should I do? Like, somebody sent me, this request for help, but I don't even offer this kind of help. Like, I feel horrible not responding, but I set my entire business up to avoid having to deal with these kinds of requests, but I feel horrible not responding. And, there was a real situation that the person was in, but that person was essentially going to her as a chiropractor, and she's a podiatrist, right? Like, we don't go, if you need your back cracked, you're not going to go see the foot doctor, right? And so, and she's clear, like everywhere she's set up her business, it says I'm a podiatrist. And so we had a longer conversation about, listen, this is one of those circumstances where somebody placed some demand energy in your space. It is quite disrespectful because they've really laid out a lot of victim mentality and said, "Oh, you're the only person who can help me," which is not true. You also do not want you don't want to do it, and now you like the way this person has placed this demand energy in your space has set you up to have to make a choice between you feeling good, you or her, but there is no you and her. There's no mutual validation. There's no mutual, like, I get fed, you get fed. It's either she gets fed and you go against your own boundaries, or you say no and you have to live with this guilt. I said, say no, because the guilt is from a part of you from childhood that really only got fed if she crossed her own boundaries. And you've been doing a damn fine job of trying to reparent that part of yourself. Do not abandon her now. Talk her through the guilt rather than trying to appease this person's demand that you become a chiropractor when you have clearly stated what you do is podiatry work. You got it? Cool. Okay, Camille, that's what I have for you. It looks like there are some people in your life where the relationships need to get restructured to fit the fact that you, my dear, you're your own podiatrist, right? You don't want to crack backs. Your chart is saying that these relationships need to get restructured or eliminated if what those people actually need is a chiropractor. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. Um, it is very much either or. I see it there in your chart. Saturn presents it that way. It's you or them. This is not one of those situations where it can be you and them. So don't let yourself feel bad for choosing you. Okay. We're going to go ahead and read for Manisa now. Trisha, Melinda, and Stephanie, if you'd like to get ready. It is your turn. Angela has jumped on the list. So after I finish with Stephanie, then I'm going to read for Angela. List is open. I'd be honored to read for you at this time. If you would like to jump on the list, you absolutely can. The way to do that is to click on this PayPal link up here. We're moving pretty quickly, about 5 to 6 minutes a read. But as you can see, I go quite in depth with folks in each read. Drop 3333 at that PayPal link above, and that'll put you on the list. If you need some guidance and insight, Mercury retrograde, the two upcoming eclipses, your love life at the end of this year or 2026, options in work or relocation, family. Hit me with your best question, single question, mini reads, and I would be happy and honored to support you. Okay, so let's go ahead and read for Manisa, who I think is Mandy. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Manisa is Mandy, but don't quote me. Um, and then if you are, yes, awesome. Thank you for being ready. I love it. Awesome. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, and if your name is Trisha, Melinda, Stephanie, or Angela, please make sure you are current in the feed. Close the live stream, go out, come back in. That'll bring you into current time. Soon as I'm done with Manisa in another 5 minutes, I'm going to read for Trisha. 5 minutes after that, Melinda, then Stephanie, then Angela. Okay, and if you want to get on the list, you're going to be right after that. Okay, so here we go. I think that means you were born in Thailand, in Bangkok. I have no idea what THBKK means. Is that like, I don't know, some part of Brooklyn? I think that means Thailand, Bangkok, but please confirm. Okay, September 21, and forgive my American ignorance. You know they don't teach us all this stuff in school the way they're supposed to. Um, So, if we're anyone who's got any type of education on stuff after, college level, like we really fought for it out here because they're not trying to give it to us. 9/21, 1989, 8:59 p.m. Thailand, Bangkok. Okay, got it. Mandy, let me see. What does it do for you? Mandy asks, let me see. I lost the strong bond with a friend that I think she is my twin flame. We've been in no contact since October of 2023. I knew met on January 23rd of 2021. What is it now for us and how to move forward in the future? I'm hurt. I'm so sorry, babe. I am so sorry. No contact, October 23rd. Girl, you did a great job getting all these details into one chat. I'm so impressed. Oh my goodness. I've never seen anybody get so many details into one chat. 10/23, 2023. That was impressive. Yeah. Okay. So this is a function of Saturn having jumped into Pisces, which is what I suspected. The friendship house, which is also the house of hopes, wishes, and dreams, had Saturn retrograde back to that 0 degree mark that week in October of 2023. Here's the thing about Saturn, Mandy. When Saturn transits a house, a sign, or a planet, it is in a place where it is trying to demand wholeness from that sector of your life. Okay. And so, with that demand for wholeness, what is happening is anything that asks you to be less you, partial you, repressed you, less self expressed you, these things are removed from that season of your life. This is also a time where if you are meant to grow in a direction where, let's just say, there are lots and lots of apples, and her path is meant to take her to a place where there aren't apples, but instead there are kiwi fruits. They don't grow in the same climate. Kiwi fruits and apples need completely different climates to grow. And so this is one of those seasons where you would have parted ways. Oftentimes, the parting of ways when two people really love each other to Many of us don't know how to cross bridges without burning them. Many of us do not know how to walk out of doors without slamming them. For many of us, we have never been taught how to say, I feel like I'm being called in a completely different direction. And as good as this has been, I need to put it down. I've outgrown it. Most people want to look for a problem, something to fix, a wound, or create a wound, something to heal. And sometimes it's not about that. It's just that this chapter and the season in which proximity was appropriate has come to a close because you and they have other people that need to sit next to you on the bus. And this doesn't require a dumpster fire to let it go. What I'm seeing here with Saturn jumping into your the sign that governs your 11th house in this particular place is that it was time for whatever reason. I'm not looking at her chart, Mandy, and seeing what she can do. I'm looking at your chart and seeing what's right for you. You may not see it now, but you may certainly see it in hindsight, especially with Libra hosting the South Node just coming through the sixth house. I'm seeing there were some things about that dynamic with this person that weren't exactly going to be constructive to your self-esteem. I also see Chiron preparing to sextile your moon. I'm also seeing a movement here. What's your sun? 28 degrees. Virgo, I see Pluto strengthening your sun. I mean, listen, here's the deal. You may have lashed out in some ways. I certainly see that capacity within you. Mercury, Mars, Sun sitting together. You may have said some things that were out of character for you as a result of having some extraordinarily strong feelings. However, even if you hadn't said those things, Mandy, I do see that this period of time, if she was meant to grow in a different direction and you were meant to grow in a different direction, because I do see you coming into a season of personal empowerment that year. If that relationship really only worked specifically because you operated with her with less power, and then that power started to come online, the glue between the two of you would have disintegrated. And that's what I'm seeing here. That power came online. The way that relationship thrived was because you operated at, on a scale of 1 to 10, power level 2. Life began to ask you to operate closer to power level 6, 7, and 8. You started to bring 6, 7, and 8 out. She went for the hills. It is not your fault. It was the season for it to close. Okay. As Saturn continues to wrap up in your 11th house, this is going to be until late 2026, moving into middle of 2027. If there is an opportunity as you settle into your new relationship to power, there does seem to be like there could be an opportunity for reconnection. But the thing about it that I'm seeing based on your chart is that you may come into that opportunity and not want it, frankly. You may come into that, and I know that feels impossible at this time, but you're going to be such a very different person. Trisha M, please go ahead and paste your question. You're going to be such a different person by the time mid 2027 hits. Um, you may see her through different eyes. Um, yeah, I know it's sad. I know it's sad. It sounds like it's been devastating for you. And for that, I am totally sorry to hear that. Like it's been such a heartbreak because there were things about her that seemed like they may have been really healing for you in certain ways. So, all of that to say, listen, forgive yourself, forgive her, and know that and trust that these planets were trying to help you by moving her to the side when they did, even if it came on the heels of a reaction that you had, because I see you may have had a very strong reaction about something here. Um, if you had one of those, forgive yourself, forgive her for the way she reacted to your reaction. and go ahead and step into that power, because trying to be a small version of you in order to win her back, or in the hopes that she comes back, is actually going to have you become bitter, resentful. And that version of you is going to be very unattractive, not just to her, but to anyone else who can come in. So give yourself permission to forgive yourself. You don't owe yourself anything because of what happened. Let it go. Um, Trisha, please paste your birth details and cue. It's your turn. Um, give yourself permission to let it go, Mandy. You had a strong reaction because your emotions were running high. You got that check in your spirit that said, okay, that reaction was not who I want to be. You got the lesson, and you'll never react that way with anyone again. Okay? Um, and trust that. Trust that you learned a different way to utilize your power, because you did. Right? Sounds like it was a very important lesson from a very important person. So really glad you got that. Okay, second call for Trisha. We don't see post from Trisha. We're going to go on to Melinda. Hopefully, Melinda, you are ready. Thank you so much. I should book a private. You can if you want, and then we can really look at those dates. I can look at the dates she came into your life, so I can see the lesson of the connection in total. And then I can look at the day she exited your life in more detail and understand what you were supposed to be learning by the exit. And then I can also look at kind of like the progression of energy when it comes to friendships from here forward for you. Like I said, I think if she resurfaces maybe sometime 2027, late 2026, but I just don't know that you're going to look at the situation, yourself and her, through the same eyes. All right. So Diva's on the list, and so is Pariksha. Thank you, Pariksha, for joining. So right now we're doing Trisha, then Melinda, then Stephanie, Angela, Pariksha, and Diva in that order. Okay. No, Trisha, we're going to go on to Melinda. Melinda, are you here and ready? Aces, girl. Melinda was like, call my name, K Moon. Call my name. I'm ready. I'm ready. Call my name. I love it. Thank you for being ready, Melinda. Let's get into it. She's from Erie, Pennsylvania. Now, why don't you want to? Oh, okay. It's not two E's. Okay, 10, 19, 1986, 6:33 p.m. Trisha, your post may be too long, hun. That might be the issue. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to swap places between Trisha and Melinda. Okay. Let's see. So Melinda says, just let me set the timer. I'm just about to sign divorce papers. When should I sell my house and move? Should I stay on my twin flame journey or stop for this amazing other man I met that loves me and my kids? Holy. So interesting, Melinda. So I'm not going to pull up another person's chart because I'm not doing a synastry reading. I'm only reading for one person. Let's see. Okay. So with regard to this, Melinda, what I can tell you outside of the astrology is just here. This right here, I'm gonna be really honest with you. If this is even a question at all, you're the answer, you're trying to figure this out in your head and not your heart. Um, you're gonna know if you're done on whatever you're calling your twin flame journey. You're gonna know if you're done because your heart is done. It's as simple as that. If you're still in love with the person, then you're not done. If you're not in love with the person, then you're done. The end. Um, my counsel to anyone who is experiencing the unconditional love that comes through a twin flame experience, it's such a unifying love, heart, head, mind, body, all in the same place. It is such a unifying experience. I just can't imagine counseling someone to separate themselves and have their heart with somebody else and then place their body with a second person. That will never be my counsel. But you got to do what's right for you. I don't know. He may be an amazing man, the amazing other man. I don't think anyone personally, and this is my perspective, this is my worldview, this is my counsel, it is a very personal lens. I don't think anyone is amazing enough to warrant self-splitting, period. That's me. Okay. So you got to look and see for yourself what your truth is. And the answer is not going to be in your head. And it's definitely not going to be in these stars. The answer is going to be in your heart. In my own heart, with my counterpart, I've seen some of the most hellacious personal transits. And I have been approached by and courted by some not amazing other men. I'm talking about extraordinary other men. Like they have all the things in the check boxes. And it didn't matter. I was in love elsewhere. So my question for you is, what's the truth of where your heart is at, Melinda? Follow that and you'll have your right answer. Let's deal with your house. When I look at the housing situation, your fourth house of family and home is governed by the moon, which is the ruling planet of Cancer. Activations to your moon. Let's see, is there anything indicating house sale at the moment? Yes, Saturn sextile moon. And then we also see here next year, Jupiter lands in Cancer. So there's a new home that does show up for you maybe late next year, 2026, more like. Um, yeah, I would say if you're gonna sell the house, sometime between now and the end of the year looks right. Maybe even February of next year. Let's look at February. Um, Trisha, go ahead and post your question and your birth details if you hadn't already, because I'm going to read for you next. I just swapped your place there with Melinda. Um, but let's just see. I'm getting a strong sense that February next year is the right time frame. Yep, February of next year. It looks like that's the time. Anytime between now and next February. You want to sell the house in that time frame, it does look perfect. It doesn't look like you get a new house right away, though. You may be in some either like temporary housing or living with family. But by the time, let me get you another one. C9. Yeah, by the time you get into midsummer, late fall, you'll have your house next year. You'll have your new house. But yeah, selling it looks to be the right thing. There is something temporary that you do. And then it does seem to be that like there's something in between, and then you go to your next forever home. Okay. Good stuff. Thank you for letting me read for you, Melinda. And hopefully, take my counsel around twin flame stuff with a fistful of salt. You got to do what's right for your live stream, right? What's right for me. One thing I have been shown this next segment between now and the opening of the next union window, people's processes, journeys are going to be so unique and personal to them. Um, and what is appropriate for me is just there were these waves of energy we were all following for a while. We're not following those anymore. Everyone's process is going to be so extraordinarily personal, um, and unique to what they have going on in their connection and what their guides and their team are trying to get them to do. So, look, this is why I have channeled significantly less for the collective, because there isn't a collective pathway at this now juncture. In fact, I'm about to take all of the channelings that are coming forward in the future and provide them to a private community rather than putting them on YouTube. And in that private community, we'll do like full moon and new moon workshops to talk through how the energy impacts you personally and work through the energy that way so that each person can really have a supportive community for their particular twin flame journey rather than because there's I wouldn't say a disintegration or a fragmentation, but more of a personalization of collective energies in such a way that it just doesn't make sense to continue for me to channel on YouTube. It really needs to be for a more exclusive community. So um feel free to look out for that. It's coming later this year, maybe early next year, depending upon how quickly I'm able to move on getting it up. But yeah, it's going to be real personal. That being said, who's next? Trisha. And after Trisha is Stephanie. So Trisha says she was born in Jamaica. Yo, Jamaica had a great Olympics this year. A freaking fantastic Olympic year. I mean, it wasn't Usain Bolt great, but y'all still got a lot of medals this year, which is very exciting. Usain Bolt will always be a legend. Okay, Kingston, Jamaica, 9/7. So please confirm for me that this is September 7th, 1979, Trisha, 6 a.m. Okay, cool. Um, I am applying to, I'm applying to an international assignment due on 8/13. I'm not sure if I'll get in. I'm scared. Oh, wait. Trisha says, I'm not sure if I'll get in. Okay, well, what's your question, Trisha? Um, okay, Trisha wants to know if she's going to get in. Let's see. Um, ooh, signs look quite favorable. Quite favorable. Wow. I mean, if it's not this, it's something else. You have a lot of favorability here. Okay, so international work is governed by the sign or the planet Venus. Your international house is governed by Taurus. Venus is one of its governing planets. And we also see second governing planet, Juno. Jupiter is harmoniously aspecting, or not harmoniously, but squaring this Venus. If you do get in, there does seem to be something inconvenient about it. I'm going to be quite honest. It's like I almost see you getting two really great opportunities at the same time, and you just can't do them both. You're going to have to make a choice. It does look like the correct choice for you is frankly the one that makes the most money. In this case for you, there's a real need to focus on the finances with these opportunities because there's going to be one of them that pays more, and there's going to be one that pays more now and the other one's going to pay more later. Let me just see this Mercury, and let me see your moon, 27 degrees Pisces. Yeah, girl, this is there. Well, I don't know what. Mad inconvenient. This tells me something. 27 degrees, 17, square here. Is there T-square? No. Yes. It's a grand cross. Ooh, these are massively inconvenient options and choices. Trisha, I can't answer that. I can answer one question during a one question, one chart mini reading. If you want to know about eclipses, you can always purchase a second question, or you can book a 30-minute reading with me and I can walk you through the eclipses in detail. Okay. Um, this is talking about a massively inconvenient set of choices, Trisha. I love that there's so much opportunity here for you. What I don't love is that there is some clarity missing in terms of some of the pay parts. It does look like there's some parts of this where you're like, none of them look like they're coming with the money you really want to see up front. It looks like you're going to have to look at the money that comes later and the full earning potential with these opportunities and give yourself permission to be willing to work through the initial stages where there's less money so that you can have the benefit of more money and opportunities later. This is talking about being extremely strategic. Once you get offered, and like I said, I think there's going to be more than one option for you. Once you get offered the opportunity, you're gonna have to go back and ask some very pertinent and organized questions about what is the long-term potential and ceiling on what you can do with this particular path. This is actually one of my sweet spots. So if you need any help knowing how to phrase questions or ask certain questions in an interview process, let me know. I don't always know how to get you more money, but I do know how to negotiate, like, what are the responsibilities and making sure that you're set up in a way that you're really financially and like empowered in terms of longevity, and in terms of responsibility, not necessarily finance, but like responsibilities. So if you want to talk about that, definitely book a reading. But yeah, I see. Are you going to get some kind of offer? Yes. Is it going to be the exact kind you want? Probably not. Is it going to get you where you want to go in the fullness of time? Should you say yes when it comes? You're going to have to go back and ask specific questions to know if it's the right move for you. I don't necessarily see information concealed. It's not like they're hiding things from you. But what I do see is that there is going to be an obvious choice, but you're not going to have all the information up front. You're going to have to dig a little bit. And once you've dug for it, you'll know what the right path is for you. Okay. But yeah, are you going to get something? Absolutely. You're in the season for it. Looks really good. All right, Trisha, thank you so much. I'm going to read for Stephanie now. Stephanie. I used to have a friend whose little sister had a little sister named Stephanie. And they were so much older than her, because it was like a surprise pregnancy for their mom. And so my friend and her brother used to tease her and say, Stephanie, step on me. And she used to hate that, but then she would stomp on their little feet, on their big feet, their adult feet. She would stomp on them as like a 4-year-old. It was the cutest thing. Okay, so Stephanie, Thank you so much for letting me read for you, Trisha. If you've got any additional questions, feel free to book. A 30-minute reading is like probably all you need. And I think there are some 30 minutes available in my calendar next week. Let me just double check. Yeah, there is space next week for a 30-minute on Tuesday. And if you can't come live, you can always email me your questions if my schedule doesn't work for your schedule. And then you can add more detail in your email, and then I can help you out in a recorded reading. Okay, Stephanie, let's get into it. Let me see. 324, 1971, 5:17 a.m. Enid, Oklahoma. I think Johnny Depp was born in Oklahoma too. 4:71, 5:17 a.m. Okay, excellent. Okay, list is open. If you would like to get on it, you absolutely can. The way to jump on the list is to click on the pinned comment at the top of your chat. There is a PayPal link there. Send 3333 to that PayPal link and you'll be on the list. Right now, I'm going to read for Stephanie, then Angela, Pariksha, and Diva, and then it would be your turn if you'd like to jump on the list. All right, let's go ahead and get into Stephanie's reading. Stephanie asks, are there any upcoming transits bringing exes back into my love life who can vibe highly enough to match the new and improved version of me that Saturn helped me build? Great question. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, you're already in the period now where someone could come back because for you, Mercury retrogrades will always have the potential to bring an ex back, specifically because Mercury is the governor of your seventh house of commitment and partnership. So whenever you see Mercury retrograde, know that for you going forward 3 to 4 times a year, you could hear from an ex love. Now, when we get into and start talking about the upcoming 10-2 solar eclipse in Libra, you're going to see a new beginning solar eclipse in the seventh house of commitment and partnership that could also be part of how an ex comes back. But understand that eclipses are, they never work alone. They always work in tandem as part of a cycle in a group. This is the second to last on this eclipse axis. There's one more on the Aries Libra eclipse axis. It's also a solar eclipse, new beginning, taking place next year. As a result of this, there is some new Eunice that's stepping into relationship. There is some potential for an ex to show up. I would say one of the best things that you can do, and that Saturn is continuing to help you do, Saturn's not done with you yet, moving through this first house and having crossed through and into the sign of your moon, is continue to shed. I still see there's a lot of shedding that needs to happen with you, Stephanie. South Node transiting through your seventh house. It's not done until it completes its movement through Virgo. Fullest series conjunct retrograde square the transiting nodal axis at this time in that house of wish fulfillment. There's a lot of ideas, hopes, goals, wishes, and dreams about what relationship quote unquote should look like, should be like, what a partner should do, shouldn't do, that have nothing to do with heart-centered living, and that also are based on a version of you that is not the true you. I'm sorry, I know that's really like challenging and confronting to hear, but I want to be as succinct and fast moving as possible and get to the point for you. This is letting me know that there are some choices you're gonna need to make around what your hopes, goals, wishes, and dreams are, because what you have been wanting and what what I'm trying to say is that what the things that you want don't exist in the same man or woman is what I'm seeing here in your chart. That there is some level of, a good example is um if what you want is a guy who is totally career focused, on the up and up in his career, like major player in investment circles and a total shark when it comes to making money back on his investments. This is also not the same guy who's going to be home every night by dinner and play with his kids and take you on vacations, once a month. Like this guy probably doesn't have that kind of time, right? Um, so there's some differentiation in the goal, hopes, wish, and dream space that series and fullest are trying to get you to take advantage of around both who you are and whether or not you are a match for the vision of partner you want, right? And who they are and whether they are a match for the kind of partnership you're wanting. There's some level of reconstruction, like getting some clarity here around some greater truth around humanity. And just like, okay, you may want an astronaut, but that astronauts and farmers are just not the same humans. Like one where, unless you're trying to get an astronaut who's terraforming Mars, then you got a different man on your hands or woman, right? But this is telling me that there's still a ways to go here with Saturn. And yes, somebody may come back, but it's the thing that you're going to be up against when this person comes back. And I do see that there is someone, and it is likely they are, if they're not already in your world, they're coming. Um, who is it next? Angela, go ahead and paste your question. Angela, it's your turn. Stephanie, just to wrap it up here with you, this is telling me that there's some like, it's not that you can't have what you want, you absolutely can. But there's also some level of like coming to terms with your own identity and whether or not your identity is a match for the picture that you've created. And a lot of releasing of perfect pictures that's going to continue to unfold between now and the end of this year, actually well into next year. A lot of releasing of perfect pictures into February. And as those perfect pictures get released, this is a term I learned from my meditation teacher at True Insight. We call them perfect pictures because they consistently block a manifestation by having a long list of check boxes of shoulds. And shoulds are never heart-based. They're never love-based. They're never allowingness based. They don't allow for the full totality and spectrum of you or another person. And so this is really showing us for you that you're going to be shedding a lot of those so that when a person does come in, either past life, past in this life, right? And it could be either one. When a person does come in, you have the benefit of being able to really see them through some super cleansed and detoxed eyes, completely should free, because you've shed all of your shoulds about you. Okay. So Saturn's not done with you yet. Thank you, Saturn. Saturn's never done with any of us. So much fun. But yeah, hang in there. Someone's coming for sure. And it's going to come with some growth. Absolutely. It's not going to be perfect where they're just high vibing and y'all are just romancing off into the sunset. I don't see that. It looks like it's going to come with some work. And as long as you're up for that, you're going to have a lot of fun. Angela. Um, you want the sexy astronauts terraforming Mars? I mean, just so you know, it might be a female. So as long as you're open to that, that would be good. But yeah, that's absolutely an option. Okay, I need to change something real quick. But we're gonna read for Angela. Angela, are you there? It is Angela's turn, then Pariksha, then Diva, in that order. Put this right here. Sparkles, are you Angela? After Angela, then it's Pariksha. So Pariksha, get ready. Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern, and one available at noon next Tuesday. So if anybody wants those, now is a good time to book them, because I noticed that they've sold out pretty quickly. Like I think I got like 4 or 5 bookings just today for August. So I want to encourage you that if you're feeling guided, don't wait. Like definitely book. So let's go ahead and do Angela. Kylie's back. Hey, Kylie. Welcome back. Hopefully you've had a good evening so far. Um, Angela's here. She got booted out. I'm P. Angela. Posted. I'll post now. Okay, no problem. Angela is born in Carson City, Nevada. Angela was born on December 7th, 1982, 8:31 a.m. Oops, that didn't change to a.m. Edit chart data. Carson City, Nevada, 12/7/82, 8:31 a.m. Okay, got it. Set the timer and see what we're looking at for Lady Angela. After Angela, we're going to read for Pariksha, then Diva, in that order. And if you'd like to get on the list, now's the time to do it. Okay. Angela says, where am I on my journey and what do I have to look forward to in the future? That's a great question. I don't know which journey you're referring to, Angela. Let's see. Okay. Angela, work, love, money, school, spiritual growth, home and family life. Which segment of your journey? Your earth journey. Okay, it's a very vague question, so I'm going to give you a very vague answer. If you'd like to be more specific, you're going to have to book another question here or book a private reading. When I look at your chart, just generally speaking, for personal growth at this time. I think one of the biggest features that I'm seeing as Pluto conjunction natal Mars, this is a period of time last year, this year, where you're really meant to be coming out of the shadows in terms of your personal power here on Earth. There's a lot of movement and motivation in your career that you're really meant to be focused on at this time. And power that's coming into your life where you're meant to be really moving your life forward according to your own ambitions with transit Pluto conjunct natal Mars. This is a very empowering period of time, especially with this Pluto square your natal Jupiter as well. That's expanding your capacity to not just see your full potential, but actually act on that potential at this time. So I don't know, like, if you've been guided to like step up in certain ways, like get politically active, start a business, get on board with some sort of community activism, start some sort of project, some creative project. The whole combination of this, we also see Uranus in the mix as well, Chiron too. The whole combination of this is talking about needing to step into the spotlight with the parts of you that you may have kept hidden away from the world. With this combination, it does look like a T square. There's no occupation in late degrees of Leo. That's a lie. Shaman's asteroid is here. So this is talking about bringing some lessons in from previous lifetimes, and lessons in from past in this lifetime. Through the experience of your journey, you're meant to be guiding, leading, teaching those around you in your tribe. And so the exciting piece about this is, you say yes, creativity in a big way. The exciting piece about this is that this is going to mark a crossover point in your life. There's going to be Angela before this, Angela after this. When it comes to the way this is going to change your third dimensional circumstances, I also see that this is going to completely shift a lot of your recognition of what you're capable of. Where's your natal Chiron? 24 degrees Taurus. Yeah, a lot of recognition of what you're capable of. You're going to see through this period of time that you're capable of so much more than you ever thought you were capable of. So much more than the way you used to play. And so as a result of this, it's going to be confronting, because I do see that I see you prefer to be a behind the scenes kind of gal. Nevertheless, this is asking you to step up and into the spotlight. And so the more you step into the spotlight, Angela, the more I really see that you're going to have more, not just fulfillment in terms of a sense of purpose, but also fulfillment financially. Pariksha, go ahead and paste your question. It is your turn. But yeah, that's what I see. There's a lot of fulfillment available for you, but it comes through the activity of your own hands and the ownership of your own ideas and the capitalization on your own efforts. This does not look like blessings laying in your lap at this time. This really looks like the more you push, the more life pulls you into what you're meant to have, what you were always meant to have. So I don't offer timestamps. Um, Sparkles, are you Pariksha? I have no idea what the timestamp is for this, because I didn't have a timer running when I started this particular live stream. So because of that, I have no idea what the timestamp is. So we're going to do Pariksha. You're welcome, Angela. We're going to do, okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Hopefully that resonates, Angela. You said it gave you a lot of confirmation, so that makes me happy. So, Kylie, I'm going to do you after I do Diva. And then I'm going to take any questions we have about the collective and collective energies. Um, if you would like to get on the list, if you're listening and you want to come play, you absolutely can. The way to do that is to click this pinned comment up here at the top of your screen. In it, you'll find a PayPal link. That PayPal link, send $33.33 USD to that PayPal link. Once you've sent it, you will be officially on the list. Once you're on the list, I will read for you. And right now, the list is really short. I've got Pariksha, Diva. I'm going to read for my moderator, Kylie, and then it will be your turn. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it for Sparkles here. Life-changing confirmation. That is awesome. Good. Yeah. Definitely not a fall in your lap blessing transit. This is a put your hands in the clay transit, roll up your sleeves and take some action transit. And whatever the action is, I do see it's going to be the right action for you, Angela. Sparkles wants to know, Sparkles, where's your birth details? I don't see your birth details anywhere here. I see your question right here, but I don't see your birth details. So hit me with your birth details, Sparkles. And then Diva, go ahead and get ready because I'm going to read for you as soon as I'm done with Sparkles. Sparkles, I don't see them, babe. I see Angela. Uh, yeah, I see Angela. I see message retract. I see Stephanie. I see message retracted from you. Put your birth details, please. Um, this is why I tell everybody, hold your birth details until I call you because there's so much chat and back and forth that goes on. I can't see it. And like just wait until it is truly your turn and then let me know. But yeah, Sparkles wants to know about a new job. Just waiting on your birth details, Sparkles. As soon as you post those, we'll be good to go. Thank you, Kylie. And Kylie, think about what would be helpful. No, I'm curious how I can serve you today, my love. Um, you know, Kylie, it's funny. Where are her birth details? So it's been an unusual Mercury retrograde. I normally don't see as much activity and action as I'm seeing at this Mercury retrograde, if I'm being completely honest. Um, it's very unusual for me to hear from the number of exes I've heard from, to see some of the, like, just some of the shit that's going on. It's unusual. But I can see all of it is a function of me needing to kind of stand some ground with myself and with people. Um, I've definitely moved into a place where I've leveled up around some of my boundaries, what my expectations are, what I want, um, what I need. I see that there has been a significant amount of change in me. And now I'm watching, it's interesting. It's almost like I'm watching the universe go, but are you sure? Wasn't this old level so much more fun with confusion and a lack of clarity and people crossing your boundaries and not respecting you and you needing validation? Wasn't this so much more fun? Like I feel like I'm going through a massive test around respecting my own boundaries and what I say I need. So that's interesting. But yeah. Okay, let me set my timer for sparkles here. How is your Mercury retrograde? Like I said, I never see this level of like activity during it's unusual for me to see this level of Mercury retrograde activity. Extremely unusual. Um, okay. Sparkles here wants to know, usually my Mercury retrogrades are quiet. I just don't have I don't keep a lot of drama in my life, interpersonally or communication wise, but I've changed a lot in the last 6 months. So I'm watching stuff, like I'm watching myself get tested around, like, are you sure you've changed? Are you really that different? And it's like, yep, universe, I really am. Friction wants to know about a new job. She says she cannot not work because she has responsibilities. She's going to work and then leave if she has to, but she has to have a job. So, Pariksha, midheaven is governed by Uranus. Uranus is presently direct, which is nice. And Saturn. Saturn is presently retrograde. Natal Saturn, I think that's 15 degrees of Virgo. Yeah. Pariksha. Okay, yes, there is a job here. I'm gonna be honest, but it looks massively inconvenient to take. Um, what I'm seeing for you in terms of a job, it's it's going to require you to do something that you've probably already done. It looks massively corporate. It does not look fun or like some sort of like desire of your heart. The job that is available for you right now is something where you are like literally like a cog in the machine doing the thing that you probably got trained to do, but is definitely not the desire of your heart. I'm having a really hard time in my current job. I'm gonna be very honest with you. Keep that job. This is not the time. If it's paying you, honor it for what it's doing for the rest of your life. Paying bills, keeping a roof over your head, keeping food in your mouth, keeping you from having to go live with your parents. I'm quite depressed and anxious where I am now. I believe it. Some of this is going to require you to really switch your mindset based on what I'm seeing here. Let me just see. What are your coworkers and bosses doing? Oh, they're being hella bullshit. I see. I see why you want to change jobs. This Scorpio sixth house is telling me that there's so much change, uncertainty, insecurity at the job that you have right now that it like it's causing an atmosphere of dissension and destructiveness among people above you and people below you. And that is really like it's messing with your self-esteem, your self-worth, your creative capacity. It's messing with your energy levels, your physical health, some of your mental health. Okay, Sparkles, let me tell you when you can change jobs. And it's going to be easier for you to change jobs. Now is not the time. Stay put. Um, if your situation is that you can't not have a job because you don't have parents or a brother or a sister or a partner you can financially like lean on while you maybe earn a little less at some sort of like part-time rinky-dink job, a bridge job until you get into the next thing. If your situation is such that you don't have that luxury, you don't have savings to fall back on, none of that, then what you need to do is stay put. This, you get into a period where you can easily find another job next year. Uh, yeah, next summer. Next summer actually looks freaking fantastic for another job. You can start looking as early as the end of the first quarter. And then between and within 90 days, you're going to get snapped up. You're going to be able to do something different. But between now and the end of next summer, it does look like, or sorry, now and the end of the first quarter of next year, if your issue is that you have literally nothing else you can fall back on because your bills are what your bills are, do not move because I see you're going to be financially a bit stuck until next summer. Next spring and summer. But if you have something else you can do, where you are able to like lean into a partner, a paid, like a bridge job paycheck, or your parents, or your savings, if you have some other way you can survive, then go for it. No, Pariksha, you're not going to have a breakdown. What you're going to do is you're going to change your mindset and understand that the function of this job is not for you to get ahead. It is not for you to make friends. It is not for you to have a career resume builder. This job is not for you to learn anything about how to do your job correctly. This particular job is for you to you're just putting in time so that food, rent, and bills can get paid. That's it. That's it. You got 8 months. You can do it. You can do it. But if you have some other kind of way that you can lean into other money, go ahead and lean into other money. Like if you got parents who will happily support you, or you got savings, or you got a partner who's like, baby, I see you're miserable. Please quit because it's ruining our relationship. I'll help you. Then do that. Lean into those places. Or if you've got some sort of savings, I don't recommend leaning on your savings if you can avoid it. Get a bridge job at like a grocery store or a bookstore or, something part-time, somewhere that'll just make sure that you have enough for your bills covered. Do that. And then like I said, by the end of the first quarter of next year, it does look like there's a really great financial opportunity, business opportunity. You get a promotion that comes with it. Completely new set of characters when it comes to coworkers. No, Sparkles, it doesn't look easier there. Like I said, like you really need to withdraw your energy and your expectations. You are going to coast and do what you need to do to check the boxes for your role, your position, and your boss. This is not an advancement opportunity based on what I'm seeing here. You do need to leave, but the timing just isn't yet. This is going to get easier by finding ways to tune out the toxicity. And I see there's a lot of toxicity going on around you because there's so little structure and order above you. Um, that's okay. Tune it out. Tune it out. You're gonna have to find ways to tune it out. Stop looking to get fulfilled there. Understand that it has a function, and its function is to keep you fed, housed, clothed until next spring. The end. Now, the only time I would say maybe you want to consider finding some other kind of way to leave immediately is if you've got some sort of like verbal, emotional, physical, or sexual violence happening at your job. Then I'd be like, find some kind of way to leave immediately. But if it's just people being shitty because there's a lack of structure, a lack of oversight, and a lack of leadership, um, and like a lack of compensation, and people are just kind of thrown together who aren't even fit for their jobs, do what you can to really mitigate these things. You said you got some bullying going on. Okay. Okay. So this is a lesson then. This is a major lesson for you. Unconscious bias. Unconscious bias. Yeah. Okay. This is a lesson for you that you need to probably lower your expenses by getting into a much cheaper place to live than where you live now so that you can stack cash so that you are never in a position again where you cannot walk when you're ready to go. And this is some of this lesson over here with Scorpio in the sixth house. You cannot afford to have your power curtailed by your finances. You own your place, so you got a mortgage. Okay. Yeah. You may need to find yourself a renter or a subletter or something. You have to work it out, but you can't be in this position where you are so hemmed up that you just miss one paycheck, you're behind. Like I learned this lesson myself in a very painfully difficult way, not that long ago, where it's like, damn, girl, like you cannot, if you can't afford to be in a slow period, then you either need to raise your rates or you need to switch up the way your revenue works because life comes with slow periods when you run a business. You get shitty bosses when you work in the work world. If you know that you are your financial backstop out here in the world and there is no one else, then you need to find a way to have cash on hand to be able to walk when you need to walk. Because like I said, I see the setup of your chart. Here, it's not going to work for you to be able to be in a situation with people above you who are toxic. Like other people can tolerate it, but not Scorpio sixth house people. So I'm going to invite you to really reconsider how your finances are set up and really start to look at getting a coach who can help you get into the next job with a $15,000, $20,000 raise above where you're at now so that you can stack some cash while you're paying off that mortgage and your mortgage doesn't take up so much of your paycheck. Okay? Because you're gonna have shitty bosses. This is life. I'm gonna have slow periods in business. This is life. And if you need to be able to walk when it's toxic. We all do. But this is a tough, tough lesson. Because, yeah, I see another job. It's just not till next spring. So if I was to leave now, the job I go into isn't great. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I don't see another job available right now. Go ahead and look. Look, see if you can find another one. I would love to be wrong. But the one that shows up next spring looks like it has the compensation package you want. It looks like it has people who respect you. It looks like it has a more structured and strategic atmosphere, looks far more settled, trying to get into something else now. I don't see something else available, but if it is, it could be some of the same. I'm not sure. So I'd love to be wrong. Go ahead and try it. Diva, go ahead and paste your question. My timer went off a long time ago. Thank you for your patience, Diva. Um, maybe I find something where the start date could be spring. Or, like I said, you can find a bridge job in between now and then. Maybe work at a department store. I know holiday hiring is about to start. Do something in retail. Um, maybe work at a gym at a front desk or something, right? Uh, the gym that I go to, they have said that the time where they experience the most enrollment isn't actually in January for New Year's resolutions. It's actually in the fall, like right now. So maybe there a gym would be hiring, find a bridge job, something you can do temporarily if you really cannot be there and you must have bills. Okay. Or you must pay your bills. G. Oh, tough lesson. I hate that this is your lesson, but yeah, that like if you are your own financial backstop, the lesson in this is shitty bosses, shitty atmospheres exist. It's imperative that you have money saved for that. Okay, let me set the timer for Diva. I have an urge to start running athletics again. I've heard really good things about running groups that people are using them as the new dating pool. Interesting. Should I take this urge seriously or am I too ambitious? I'm fitter now than I was 20 years ago. Why would you not take it seriously, Diva? You got the urge, do it. Why would you not? Go on. You want to run, run. Sha'Carri Richardson yourself, girl. You can do it. I believe in you. Why not? Put them pearls in your hair like Noah Lyles. Get yourself on the track. It's going to be awesome. House of Physical Health and Well-Being is Plutonian governed. Pluto is going back into Capricorn, and then it'll go forward again into Aquarius. I'm not sure how long you have felt this urge, but I do see with Pluto going back into Capricorn, I would say it's going to be a great time to do anything you've done in the past. But beware when Pluto goes back into Aquarius in like February, March, I'm going to say you may feel a little bit like, I don't want to do this no more. I'm sick of this. Um, and so I would say if that's the case where you're feeling like, you know what, I'll try it for now. This seems like the right thing for me to do. Go for it. Like I said, I think you may have a very short lifespan with it. By the time Pluto is back in Aquarius in early next year, I just have this feeling you're going to be a little over it and want to do something different. And that's okay too. I would say anything that speaks to you in terms of your health and fitness at this time that feels empowering, like you're going to feel good in your body, do it. Do it now. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. Do not pass go. I don't see any physical problems here at all for you. I'm looking around the wheel to see what else is aspecting your natal Pluto to see, you know, could there be any physical challenges you need to look out for? I'm not seeing not a one. So yeah, do it. Do it for 6 months if you feel like doing it for 6 months. But I do see sometime early next year, you get some sort of like bright idea for something else that is going to serve you. And that's cool. Change it up. I personally am going to be honest, I have really struggled with continuity with certain things unless they're like I'm part of a group. I see you do better on your own, but I will also say that um in the past, I have experimented with like quarterly changes in activity. And you may find trimesterly every 4 months or every 6 months, an activity change works for you. So maybe you do a running group between now and the end of the year, the last 4 months of the year. And then in the early parts of next year, you try yoga. for 4 months. And then in the spring, you switch it up again and you go from yoga to like breath work or something. I don't know, right? I think you're going to find that what it is you feel like you need changes by the time we get into the early parts of next year. Do the running now if you're called to it. I do suspect there may be something there for you as it pertains to a linkage to something you need in either your day-to-day living, a recommendation for like a therapist or a trainer, some sort of recommendation for like maybe a volunteer job or a service work that can get you introduced to a life partner. Your house of physical health and well-being is very linked to your romance sector. And so anytime you get the urge to like do something for your physical health, it also may be your higher self calling you and saying, hey, I lined up a cutie for you. Can you come to this gym so I can get the introduction done? Please and thank you. Bye. It could be that. And so anytime you really get that urge, I want you to take it very seriously in this lifetime and lean in. Get on with the running group. Like I said, I have heard they are hotbeds of love. So yeah, try it out. I like it a lot. All right, so I'm gonna do a question for my moderator, Kylie here, or if anyone has questions for the collective, now is the time to ask. If you want to know, like, how's this gonna affect the collective? How's that gonna affect the collective? This was the moment in the last live stream when we found out that Biden had withdrawn from the presidential race, and people were like, okay, can you look at Biden's chart? Look at Kamala Harris's chart. Look at, this person's chart, that person's chart. So I did a lot of like, like I said, answering questions for the collective at this point in the live stream last time. I'd be more than happy to do that again. If you guys have questions about the collective energies, just let me know. I'm going to wait for Kylie to share a question with me. If anyone would like to jump on the list a second time, you can also do that. And while Kylie prepares her question, or you guys prepare your question for me as it pertains to the collective, I'm going to go ahead and share with the main YouTube channel that we're live. Or should I end here? Should I close out? I'm trying to think. Oh, I'm having like, I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys decide because I'm like truly, I don't know why I'm confused. I want to keep going, but I also really want to start on the Aquarius full moon lunar update. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I know I need to do that. I wanted to keep going though, but because I'm having so much fun. All right, so I'm gonna do Kylie's question and then I'm gonna wrap because I wanted to start on that Aquarius full moon tonight. Okay. Show chat. Uh, I would love to know how the United States will resolve the homelessness crisis. Girl, me too. Or housing stability and affordable rent. Yeah, I would love Angela. I would definitely love to know that. I'm sure Sparkles would love to know the answer to that question too. I'm sure her mortgage is high. given what we just talked about. You know what? So I'm going to be honest. I think that um, a lot of the challenges we've had around housing really began. I mean, it was already, we already had a homelessness problem pre 2008, but the housing crisis in 2008 certainly made things significantly worse. And 2020 did not help. Some of the policy changes that unfolded in 2020, and then the Fed rate hikes in 2021 and 2022 were an absolute problem. But because of Pluto's move out of Capricorn, where things got exacerbated and worse with that housing collapse in 2008, that's when Pluto entered Capricorn. Pluto's leaving the sign that governs big banks, institutions, government, and business. Where Pluto goes, power flows and follows. Pluto is leaving Capricorn and in last dip this November, and then going to land for a 20-year stay in Aquarius. Aquarius governs new ideas, collectives, groups. I really think that the next stage of solutions that we're going to get on this are going to be solutions made by the people for the people. And we're already starting to see some level of that. Where we are seeing friends buy plots of lands or co-housing, where they're buying multi-story houses and then choosing each person gets a floor. We're seeing friends decide to build out, condos together or buy a whole, subdivision together. All of this, I think we're seeing, so again, solutions by the people for the time being. But I also suspect that because we are seeing people start to work around a disadvantageous system in the world of housing, through working in collectives, I think we're going to see policy changes as well. Again, where Pluto goes, power flows and follows. Pluto leaving the hands of institutions, banks, and governments, now in the hands of Aquarius, which is all about the people. I think we're going to see some policy changes that are far more advantageous to people who want to own homes, for people being able to find a way to be in a home, this kind of thing. Homelessness policy changes as well. That most recent policy change that happened at the Supreme Court level that gave states the right to make sleeping on the street or sleeping outside illegal and to put homeless people in jails. I don't think that's the solution. I actually think we're going to see a rollback on that once Pluto resettles in Aquarius. And as it resettles in Aquarius, what we will most likely see is some new sort of shift when it comes to kind of policy around homelessness so that it's not criminalized in the way that it is right now. So, yeah, so it's really exciting. Like I said, I think the Pluto and Aquarius years are going to be extremely empowering for people. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius, it's a 20-year stay. So 2024 to 2044. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius was the beginning of this country, the United States' origins. And so those first 20 years post, American Revolution, we saw a lot of hopefulness as the colonies really started to figure out their identity and what they believed in, the shaping certainly of the Constitution and any little edits in the articles. I think they're called the Articles of Declaration. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. It's been a long time since I've been in that class, but lots of small edits that took place that made the country a more empowering place for people. And certainly we saw, in the 100 years that followed, And the 200 years that followed, lots of struggles around, well, whose rights were really covered under this expansion of rights for people. Women's rights, indigenous rights, enslaved Africans' rights. Do they have rights, the same rights as everyone else? It was like a 200-year struggle after the Constitution was created to really create greater equity. And we're still not at parity yet in those arenas. In the places where we have gotten parity, we see one party trying to strip and roll a lot of that back at the current moment. And so there's a lot of rectification that the Pluto and Aquarius years are going to bring for the way the consolidation of power unfolded during the Pluto and Capricorn years, where there was so much financial deregulation that banks could get away with really robbing American people of a lot of their savings, the equity in their homes, their like the underwater mortgages that took place in like between 2008 and 2012 that really set a lot of people back, the predatory lending that unfolded during that period of time. I really think that we're going to see some policy changes that will facilitate greater access to the resources that facilitate housing and regulation at for corporate structures that create greater power in the hands of the individuals and the people. So like I said, I think it's going to start with the by the people, for the people types of ways of people working around the institutional consolidation of power. But then I see as we move further into the Pluto and Aquarius years, there's going to be a disintegration of that solidification of power that happened during the Pluto and Capricorn years, which was all about power to corporations. So that's kind of where I see things headed. I think it's going to take some time. Two of like two of the best kind of like readers that I have spoken to, one of them is Tarot. Some of you guys know her channel, phenomenal tarot channel. If you haven't checked it out, please do. She's wise beyond her years, and I've just got chills saying that. But also there's a woman who I had during the manifestation conference last year. Both of them literally said the exact same words. They said that they had been talking to their guides about when is, like, you keep saying there's going to be this golden era, this place where, you know, we're going to move into this higher level consciousness. But right now on the outside, everything looks like it looks so dim, it looks so dark, it looks so bleak, like humanity is at its wits' end in each other's throats with the disenfranchisement of the many and the consolidation of wealth among the few. When is this going to change? You told us it was coming. Those two don't know each other, those two don't talk, but they both got the same message and told me at two different times. It was literally verbatim. The two of them said that their guidance teams told them that that newness is here now, but some of what humanity needs to experience is a drawing back of a slingshot to catapult humanity forward. And they literally had the same analogy, slingshot. They don't talk to each other. They don't know each other. Neither one of them knew I had that conversation with the other one. They've been given the same exact analogy. And that's, I mean, literally, that's kind of the way Aquarius will work, and Uranus. And we have Uranus moving into Gemini next year. We have Pluto having landed in its sign, Aquarius, this year. This is the way that would and could really work, because Pluto destroys before it creates. Uranus skips steps. And when you think about the way a slingshot works, it doesn't move step by step. It goes from the way back to the way front. And so I think we're going to start to see some of this type of like categorically difficult to fathom radical change moving in this direction. of restoration of power to the hands of the many, the respective individual rights, including women and their bodies, children and their rights, so that they, have the right to go to school, people's rights to clean water, clean air, a home, food that isn't poisoned, right? I think we're going to see a lot of this beginning to unfold as we move into, the second segment of if it's a 20-year transit, we can split it up into 4 or 5 segments. So as we move into year 4 or 5, and then 4 or 5 years after that, and then 4 or 5 years after that, we can really break it up into like these quarter periods where we're going to see like big leaps going on. So, yeah. So that's what I got. Thank you for that beautiful question, Angela. I did not have a chart to show for the answer to that question, but thank you for allowing me to answer that for you. I can show you some of that stuff when we look at Kylie's chart. But you guys kind of already know where those planets are if you're a student of astrology. But planetarily, that's what we're looking at. That's where things are headed. Okay. So let me go ahead and do Kylie's question, and then we are going to wrap up. Let me share screen. Kylie question. Kylie says she's born in Waukegan, Illinois. 3/26/96. 2:15 a.m. Amazing. Okay. Angela says, great wisdom. Do you have courses? If so, possibility of sponsorship. I do have courses. I'm actually going to enroll a little closer to October for Star Club, and that is my membership program where you get to learn and practice astrology with a community of people who want to do the same. So if you want to be on the wait list for that, just make sure you're on my private list. Kylie has kindly posted the link many times. It'll also be in the description box for this video. You can also sign up for my private list over on my website. There's a pop-in that gives you, you can just sign up there at K Moon Astro. And that way you'll be the first to know. There will be some early bird savings just for the private list members who want to pay in full. But then there will be regular prices once I launch the program to YouTube. So hopefully, Angela, you can join that. We talk a lot about these kinds of things inside of Star Club. I think today during our live office hours, I answered a lot of questions, specifically about kind of Pluto into Aquarius and what it might have been like back in the 1700s, 248 years ago when it was there, where it's at now, what are the like conditions going on. I mentioned a lot of times on today's broadcast, South Node moving through Libra. That's been a major topic of study and conversation inside of Star Club for my Star Club's participants, because it's created a lot of significant change for people. And it's something I touch on the main YouTube channel. But if you're really interested as a student of astrology to understand the correlation between the macro and the micro, what's happening in the world and what's happening in your life from a planetary perspective, Star Club is the best way to go. So you can join the private list. Like I said, I think I'm going to be launching that sometime in October. Right now is the plan. And like early bird savings will be available for those who are on the private list. Limited spaces available. Okay. Yeah, ASO Tarot, Angela, and Blu-ray Starseed. Great to see you, Blu-ray. Been a minute. But that's her name, ASO Tarot, and she's great. You can check her out. She's here on YouTube. She does amazing readings, wise beyond her years. Like she blows my mind. Like she's literally young enough to be my daughter, and she's out here schooling me half the time. I'm like, girl, what planet and dimension did you come from? Like they are making them so different these days. Oh my God. Um, okay, so Kylie wants to know, thank you for your patience, my love. Should I read? Okay, wait. I've been having dreams, lots and lots, especially about about specific persons. Should I read into that or wait? That's a really good question. Is there a connection between Jupiter and your moon? None. They're in conjunct, but Jupiter is in 12. Let me see the transits. So dreams are governed by the 12th house. Your 12th house gateway is covered by the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius's planetary ruler is Jupiter. Jupiter is over here. Preparing to conjunct your moon. Moon is the governor of romance and the governor of career. Nope, I lied. The governor of sexy time. Okay, so Kylie, what I would say for you with these dreams, you also have a very peculiar energy rolling through your dream time space at present. And you just came off of an inverse nodal return. As I'm considering your question, my suspicion is that some of these dreams are about releasing these people, and being able to let them go. Some of these specific people and your interactions with them, if you look back on the person you were when you were interacting with them, it does look like something about the interactions was very compromising to your self-worth and self-esteem, would have been problematic. Some of them even maybe have blocked your cash flow in certain ways. Um, yeah, Natalie J, jump on the list. If you want to jump on the list, you absolutely can, Natalie. The link to do that is in the pinned comment above. Just send 3333 to PayPal and I will read for you and then we'll close out. But yeah, I think some of these people were not awesome. Some of these specific people were not, and at the time, honestly, they may have been people that you felt they may have felt like cool, like it was a vibe at the time that you knew them. But you're in a period of some really significant growth, like heading into your Saturn return. And I see because Saturn rules the part of your dream sector where Pholus and Ceres are transiting, there is a pattern among the people you're dreaming about, not in their behavior, but in how you showed up in your interactions with them in life. That in the dream time, interacting with them, like it's giving you an opportunity to see the interaction and yourself in a new way so that you can release, complete, put a period on these sentences and lean into greater self-honoring, Kylie. I'm not sure based on what I'm seeing activating your dream time that what you're getting from these people is actionable in terms of outreach or communication. I'm not seeing that at the moment. Um, Let me just double check to move this out of the way. Interestingly enough, I do think that one or two of them may actually decide to reach out to you with the Mercury retrograde transit. It's going to cross over your vertex point, and it is going to, the vertex point is your gateway in your chart where people come in. Whenever you have a planet, especially retrograde conjunct the vertex point, like Mercury in this instance, it does tend to pretend that some sort of communication is going to come in. It might be people who are related to kids in some way in your life, people you may have had experiences with physically, like physical intimacy. It could even be people who owe you money. Anyone from these three categories, I see potentially reaching out to you. If there are people you owe money to, some of this is the dream time stuff is about you doing what you need to do to just get clean of the debt. Um, like just pay these people off and trust that life has got you, but sever the linkage financially, but sever the financial ties so that these people aren't taking up space in your queue. If people owe you money, ask about when it's going to get paid back. Like some of this is about you getting, again, some financial restitution in some cases around people who owe you some cash. So, or people again, where it looks like maybe it was like sexually uneven in some sort of way. They wanted to be a certain way with you. Like it looks like situations where uneven power dynamics, you were taken advantage of. This is the time in which it looks like things are going to be like the attempt to make things right does seem to show up here. So, my recommendation is going to be give yourself the opportunity to lean in where you're guided to, but a lot of this is about not necessarily always needing to lean in, but to see the pattern of your role in this, decide you're going to be different, get the lesson, and get on with your life. Keep it moving. He said, I wish there were you wish somebody owed you money. Be a great time to collect, Kylie, would it? Like, yes, I have come to collect on my $5,000. Thank you very much. Yeah. So otherwise, I would say there's some sort of patterning here around releasing toxicity where it was like, yeah, you didn't really treat me the way you're supposed to, and we're done. So that's what I got, Kylie. You're welcome. You are very, very welcome. Okay, so we did have one joiner to the list. Miss Natalie, I'd love to read for you, hun. Go ahead and give me your birth date and then your question. You're welcome. My pleasure to read for you, Kylie, every time. I should see your journal. Is it full of people who owe you money? I'm going to read for Natalie and then we're going to wrap up. Thank you, everyone who's been kicking it. Always great to have you guys here. If you're not on the private list, now is the time to join it. I tend to announce to the private list when I am going to do live mini readings first. I announce to them first. And then the other thing that I would say is I do have two fall programs, late summer fall programs that are going to launch. Natalie, go ahead and post your question and your birth details. Oh, there you go. Um, so what I would say is the first program is going to be the union workshop. I'm going to co-host that with my spiritual mentor. And it's really all about understanding your innate and God-given powers of creativity to move and shape your relationships in a configuration of fulfillment for you. So everything you'll learn in the union workshop will apply to and work for family, friends, colleagues, bosses, children, love relationships, Um, it is going to be a very different kind of workshop. The union workshop, it's going to be about 12 weeks. Um, yeah, sorry, 10 weeks. And in that workshop, we are going to be deeply focused on understanding what you can do to positively influence the way people treat you and what you're receiving in partnership with people around you. And so some of it is really going, I'm going to be honest, biblically based, but not religion based. So if you're down with the teachings of like Neville Goddard and you understand the law of thought transmission, and the absoluteness of the law of manifestation, you're going to find that this is actually really a fun, very cool workshop to take that's going to help you understand from a biblical perspective exactly what your power is to have authority over the third dimension and dominion over not just your past lives, but also your present life. So if you've ever felt like, yeah, past life interference and my connection, or, there's some sort of like blockage and I can't figure it out, you're going to get to the bottom of it. You're going to be able to move the block with this program. It's one of the most powerful programs of work I've ever taken. And I asked my mentor if she'd be willing to teach it to my people. She said yes. And so we're going to co-launch this, gosh, soon. I just need to put the sales page together so that people can opt in. And I've started working on that. So the other program is going to be Star Club. And it's this is also these 12 weeks. Yeah, 12 weeks for astrology only. So if you're curious about that, just make sure you're on my private list. If you like the way I talk about astrology, teach astrology, use astrology, Star Club is the best way to learn and practice astrology with me in a community. Okay. Let's go ahead now and read for Natalie. Link to the private list. Again, Kylie has posted it. It's in the description box of this video, and you'll also see it over on my website, kmoonastro.com. There's a little pop out there that'll say join the private list, and you'll be the first to know. You'll also get the special pricing because when I announce to YouTube, it does tend to be more general pricing. All right. Let's see, Natalie. Natalie says, yeah, broad questions are okay as long as you're okay with a broad answer. I'm starting my own business. Any advice you can give for success in the planning and development stage now? I had a mini reading in 2022 and you couldn't see anything happening until 2024. Time is now, I hope. Yes, time is indeed now. We have Saturn preparing to cross over into your midheaven. I think you're going to find, especially now because we have Neptune preparing to jump into Aries, I think you're going to find that there's some very grounded motivation that you can utilize to jump into this business. I also see Jupiter, the co-ruler of your midheaven, popping out into your first house. If you're thinking of launching a personal brand or like, I don't know, Sugarcane Juice by Natalie, something like that, something where your name is attached to it, your values are attached to it, your vision is a significant part of it. This is the right time to absolutely get into launching something like that. I also see, let's see, joint rulers are Neptune and Jupiter natally. Interesting. So there is a movement here. There's some difficulties that are now behind you. I see we have Saturn sextile natal Jupiter. We see it square your sun. This is going to be a time that's going to require tremendous focus and discipline to get things off the ground. Any place where you have been double-minded, well, it's going to be a tuck shop and it's going to be um a shoe shine shop. This is where closing and narrowing your focus is going to serve you tremendously. If you want to make a tuck shop, make it the best damn tuck shop you can make. If you want to make it a shoe shine shop, make it the best damn shoe shine shop you can make. Really pick a direction, a focus, drill down, because I see here that split energy is actually going to cause you to feel like you're running around with your a chicken with a head cut off. And it's going to diminish your capacity to have your resources really serve you in the early stages of this business. Okay, so all of that to say, pick one, jump in, drill down on your focus. I see that there's a lot of new structure that's starting to take place in the world of day-to-day living for you with Pluto moving into the sign of Aquarius. This new structure is really meant to help you basically become a different person through having different habits. Our habits govern the way our life responds to us. Our habits really govern the performance of who we are because they govern our identity. The things that we do day in and day out are what are the things that really formulate, mold, and shape the quality of our lives because they're based on what we believe about ourselves. And so with Pluto as governor of the day-to-day living house and well-being house, this is telling me that it's time to take on some new habits, Natalie, so that your dream of a business can ground itself. I don't know if you're the kind of person who, spends like 5 hours a day journaling and meditating and juicing. You may need to trim that down so that you have more of your waking hours available to dedicate to getting things done in your business. If you're the kind of person who, if you want to start a business, but instead of focusing on your business, I don't know what other things a person could be doing who wants to start a business. Um, but if you're distracted in other ways, this is where I'm seeing you start to really revolutionize the way you spend your time so that you have the capacity to really lean into what you want this to look like. I'm also seeing you're going to find a lot of support through people who could potentially be investors or getting a line of credit to get product moving if you have a product-based business early on. I'm seeing that you have a lot of capacity to pull uh, debt in at the moment and harness it for the benefit of building your business. So just be mindful of that. You don't take on too much debt, but also give yourself a lot of permission to look like, okay, if I were to take out a line of credit, what do I want it to do? What do I need it to do for me? How would I get it paid back? On what time frame? What amount of product would I have to sell in order to pay it back? And what's the pricing I would need? Like, this is really a good time to start to get financially strategic about debt as investment in your business so that you can be in a place of really taking advantage of the momentum that the planets have for you by being very grounded, very focused, very boundaried, very disciplined. Okay. So good stuff. I love it. If you can take this on now, it does like you'll build a lot of momentum in 2025. And in 2026, I got to be honest, it looks like a big payday, but you don't have to start moving in the now time. Okay. All right, Natalie, thank you. You were the last one on the list for today. I really appreciate you letting me read for you. Thank you for everyone who joined, all of your patience, your great questions, support of one another. Thank you to my extraordinary moderators, Flower and Kylie. I think Flower has departed. It was awesome to be with you. If you're curious about any of the programming I mentioned, get on my private list at kmoonastro.com. And I would also say it's a great time to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. That way, when I go live again, you're the first to know. First on the list means first read. First read means first paid means first read. Okay. Would crowdfunding be a good option for investment? Once Pluto resettles in Aquarius, yes, because Aquarius governs group. Let's For that, I would say get your ducks in a row to launch a crowdfunding campaign in January of 2025. Okay, that would be the right time for that. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I really love being here with you. Look for that Aquarius full moon video sometime in the next, hopefully 24 hours. If not, Monday, Tuesday will be when I get it out. Just depends on how quickly I'm able to move through it tonight. Okay, guys, I love you. It's been